What's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube. Well, not really.
Adam, quick question for you.
Yes, Dex.
Are you wearing a Snuggie?
First of all, it's a Huggle. There's a difference. Do you think that all wearable blankets look the same? Is that what you're saying?
Well, okay, but sorry, it's one of those as seen on TV blankets, right?
As seen on TV is no longer acceptable. It's 2019, Dex. First of all, they are now known as all known on media, not as seen on TV. Watch your terms, Dex.
Sorry, Adam. I really didn't mean to offend you.
That's all right. I overreact sometimes. Sometimes I protest. I'm just really sorry. As a millennial, I'm just, really on edge all the time. I've got a lot of peer pressure. I'm really sorry.
Sheesh. Millennials.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just know if you say that again, I will protest. Okay?
Okay.
We'll be right back with your non-offensive news after this. Well, what is up, folks? What is up, my Foogle family? We have an awesome show for you tonight. We're going to get straight into the news after we tell you a couple things. First off, Dex, who helps produce the show, I want to get a sound check on you. Are you there, Dex?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam.
Okay, so if you've never been here before, Dex is actually going to be screening the calls later at 224-400-MARF. This is a live call-in show. We're going to first hit the news, all of the notable news articles over the last day and a half, actually. And if you ever want to reference any of the news we actually go through, you can go to MARFOOGLEnews.com. And just to show you real quick, this is extremely easy. Go to MARFOOGLEnews.com, look for this thumbnail, and when you get there, you will actually see you can go through all of our previous past shows, or even go to this a month later, and down below, all of the articles that we're covering today will be down below. Now, you can actually watch this live from the website if you'd like, and you can actually go with a second device and go through the articles, which is pretty freaking sweet. It looks like there's actually 121 watching just the website, so that's pretty awesome. And with that being said, again, we spend hours before the show to load all that up, so please utilize it. Now, we have crazy news today. As always, obviously, the world is in just a heap of trouble right now. Unofficially, we didn't have an article for this. There is a big story going around that Roger Stone was convicted of all charges. Is that correct, Dex?
Yeah, all of them. The tampering with the witnesses and I guess lying or perjury.
So, a lot of people are up in arms on Twitter. I've received tons of messages. I also wanted to let you guys know that Mike Morales will be a guest on the show tomorrow, assuming everything works out with our schedules. If it doesn't work out tomorrow, of course, it will work out next Saturday. But we assume everything will go all right tomorrow, so that's exciting. A lot of you guys email about Mike Morales. I said to him in an email, I said, out of all of the YouTubers out there, he should most likely be way, way, way bigger than he is, judging on how many people share his stuff, how many people send us emails about his work on his channel. I can't tell you. Dex, wouldn't you say that we get more emails about his videos than almost any other YouTuber?
Yeah, his name is pretty synonymous in our mailbox.
And we're going to talk about all sorts of different things when we do get together. I definitely have a lot of questions for him. I've been watching him for, ever since I discovered him. I've let you guys know to go over and check him out. A lot of callers actually suggest him, so we've let a lot of people know about him as well. Now, we're going to get straight into the news. I want to welcome you guys. Thanks, Lance Muir, for just opening it up with a super chat. Sean Glock, thanks you for all you and Dex do. Love the time. First time watching live in like 2 months. LOL, watch the replays every morning. Thanks again. Hey, Sean Glock and every other replay watcher, most of the time we're doing night shows. When we do a morning show, there's a purpose for that. We're trying to get a schedule down to where we can do at least one morning show a week. So we can, let you guys participate as well. For the replay watchers, I cannot say enough. We end the show with, anywhere from 8 to 12,000 views at night. And then by the next day, it's anywhere from 30 to 50,000. So we know there's 25 to, 40,000 people that watch the next day, and it's not live. So that's absolutely mind-boggling to me. So thank you, Sean Glock, and anyone else who watches the next day. The Ann Lynn Show, thank you. It says, we appreciate you, Marf, for all that you do for the Marfoogle family, sending tons of granny kisses. Hashtag Marfoogle, hashtag let the ads play Ann and Lynn. You guys are awesome. Hopkinson, if you guys haven't checked out the Ann Lynn Show, go check out their channel too. They're a Foogle Fam favorite. Hopkinson, let's see here. Won't let me go to it for some reason. Hopkinson, thank you, Adam and Dex, mods, and love to everyone in the Foogle Fam. And Benji Banks Live, thank you for subscribing. James Ray, new subscriber. Hi Kitty Blaze, thank you for subscribing. And as always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Car6583 Leo Mom, hi Foogle Fam from Massachusetts. Car Leo Mom says, thanks for all you do, Adam, Dex, and mods. Andy Littman sent a $2 super chat, says free money. It's really crazy because over the last couple of days, obviously we've just found out that YouTube's been giving out free super chats again. Bonnie Blake, that sounds crazy to me. It sounds like somewhere there's something up with that. Jacqueline Bing Near, thank you for subscribing. Bonnie Borello, thank you for subscribing just now. Cody Greenwood, Raphael Fluveril, England, and Neil Nelson, thank you for being the last one out last night. And Todd Herndon, thank you for subscribing just now. Okay, so we're going to get into it. If you just did one, I will get back to you later. This is actually a incredible article right here. It says, Kissinger warns U.S. and China conflicts will be, quote, catastrophic. Now, nobody wants to hear that word, and people are afraid of that word. In fact, it's a taboo. Excuse me. It says United States and China will be inevitable and result in a, quote, catastrophic outcome that will, quote, will be worse than world conflicts from before, unless the countries settle their differences, according to former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Now, if you don't know who Henry Kissinger is, he's one of the most quoted men in, him and the other Kissinger are two of the most quoted men in the world. As far as a lot of the things that they've said. It says, we are in a difficult period now. I am confident that leaders on both sides will realize the future of the world depends on the two sides working out solutions and managing the inevitable difficulties, he said at an event hosted by the National Committee on U.S.-China Relations in New York on Thursday. It says, quote, there is no doubt many aspects of the evolution of China are challenging to the U.S., the 96-year-old said. Wow, he's 96 now. That's incredible. It never happened before that two major countries in two different parts of the universe were in similar positions. But they must understand that a permanent conflict between them could not be won and would end in a catastrophic outcome for Beijing and Washington, he said. So here's the thing. There's been more notable men than him even that have been saying the same thing. And if you look at what they're doing, people underestimate China. They don't, I don't understand why people are continuing to underestimate them. We spent 8 years reducing our military and all sorts of other things. Meanwhile, they spent that whole 8 years developing new technologies. Now that almost every country is either at or about to be at quantum computing, I don't think people understand quantum computing because they don't need the smartest scientists in the world. They need a quantum computer to essentially develop new technology. We are about to see the hugest burst of technology ever seen in history. I mean, if you think it's crazy now, just imagine when everyone has access to quantum computers. Dex, would you not agree? You have a tech background. You were very high up in tech companies. Would you not agree that once quantum computing is a normal thing, it's going to be insane?
Well, yeah, it will, and because we won't have the veil of secrecy that we have today, encryption. So first thing that'll go is encryption will be gone.
So
assuming we don't rebuild new encryption, but that's the current threat right now with quantum computing, is to be able to completely destroy encryption.
So just so you guys understand what he's saying, quantum computing basically defeats any kind of encryption. If you have a quantum computer, it can do millions and millions and millions and millions of tests. Essentially, if you were trying to hack a password, it could try 50 billion options just like that. I mean, within a second, within 3 seconds, you've hacked the database. Who knows if people have already done this? I'm assuming they have. And, again, with the China thing, it's like, do you think that they have not hacked us? Well, we know that it's basically a fact that they have hacked us, stole technology. And it's like, okay, so US is the biggest, baddest, dog in the kennel, right? Well, that other dog has the access to incredible computer specialists that can hack and basically just steal what we have. Then they say, oh, well, they don't have the same building materials. And, even though they've got the same blueprints, they're going to make it cheaper and crappier. I don't think people should assume that. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine. Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. The notion here is not to start arguments. It's to all talk about these things. Yes, Dex?
Adam. Yeah, I was going to say, the other perspective here, Kissinger was around for the Cold War, obviously, right? And he's saying that right now we're in a position with two major countries that we've never been in before. In other words, what we had during the Cold War, which we thought was probably the two strongest countries going at it on the brink of, another catastrophe, he's saying now this is worse than that. Right? He's saying there's never been a time like this where two countries were equal. That's how strong he's saying China is.
Well,
think about that.
Yeah, and he is in the know, and he still gets filled in on things, I'm sure, even though he's 96. It's a big deal, but it's not only him. I mean, we've covered it over the last year. We've covered many famous folks that are guaranteed on the inside that, show up to the meetings over wherever they hold them every year. And these people are saying all the same thing. All the rich elites, they're all saying the same thing. So, again, with the technology that we've even seen China get before us, it's pretty incredible. It used to be if you had the smartest mind in the game, they could develop something. You would try to keep that secret as long as possible. And then, you would have the advantage. I mean, look at throughout history, one country or another had an advantage somewhere. It was usually the US. In fact, even like Werner von Braun, we took their smartest, Germany's smartest rocket scientist and put him on our team. Now, there's lots of debate about Werner von Braun. That's an entire show by itself. But it used to be like you took that smartest mind and you took them, you made sure that they didn't talk, you kept it top secret, you encrypted it, classified it, made it compartmentalized. Nobody knew what was going on. Now with quantum computing, everything is going to change. First thing that goes is encryption. The second thing that goes is advantages you are going to have. And then they have no shortage of people over there. And if they can, use quantum computing to make things affordable to make, look at the manufacturing facilities in China. They could literally they could use their power as an, all-powerful country. They could turn any factory, doesn't matter what kind of business they're running, into making war supplies, anything. There's few things that they depend on us for, like soy, oddly enough, and they are actually looking for ways to get their dependence on us away. In fact, they've been talking to Russia. Russia's giving them free land, literally giving them free land for them to grow soy over in Russia so they don't have to depend on us. Russia's disconnecting their internet. China is already doing stuff, and it begs to ask a question, why are companies here actually helping China with what they're doing with their computers and with their internet and everything else? You guys probably know who I'm talking about. Either way, you guys get the point. No reason to beat a dead horse, if you know what I mean. Japan's space probe is returning to Earth with an actual piece of asteroid. I love how they say actual piece of asteroid. It says Japan's Hayabusa 2 probe will leave its orbit around a distant asteroid and head for Earth on Wednesday after an unprecedented mission, carrying samples that could shed light on the origins of the solar system. The long voyage home would begin at 10:05 a.m., with the probe expected to drop off its precious samples sometime late 2020, the Japan Aerospace Exploration said. It says, quote, "We expect Hayabusa 2 will provide new scientific knowledge to us," project manager Yuchi said, and then it says the probe will bring back to Earth, quote, "carbon and organic matter that will provide data to us how the matter is scattered around the solar system, why it exists on the asteroids, and how it is related to Earth." So, one theory is that Earth was formed after another planet smacked into it, and then the moon actually separated from the Earth's mass and then cooled down and spun around us. I know that there's quite a few people that, space in general is not even real. I get it. We're trying to be open-minded and talk about everything here. And some say that these asteroids have this organic matter that, who knows, they could have been a chunk of Earth at one point and they're rotating around, spinning around, and then they come back by. And of course, they're taking samples of this. I personally think Hayabusa and all of the rest of the asteroid missions, and this is my opinion, is that they are studying, along with all of the other asteroid missions, how to deflect asteroids, how to destroy them. In fact, I have a good, very, very good source, somebody who is in our military group, who is in that I personally know outside the military group, and they say that they are bringing samples back to try to see if there's any chemical weaknesses. Basically, if there's anything on Earth or off Earth that can melt an asteroid, destroy it, without some sort of explosion, without some sort of parasail, without any of that. If there is something, a chemical weakness, so say if you put salt on the top of a bowl and put a drop of salt and it all separates, something like that would essentially melt the asteroid. And that sounds crazy, but if you think about it, we're dealing with different kinds of metals, different kinds of things on these. If what they say is true. So with that being said, it just further kind of says to me that they are trying to either deal with asteroids that are coming towards Earth or having a contingency plan for asteroids coming towards Earth. We've talked about it. Some people say extinction's a hoax and all this. I think that people are trained right now during the current cycle that extinction is the whole Extinction Rebellion thing that should not be confused with an actual extinction. That is the people talking about, 12 years to change our climate and all this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our physical species dying, and we all die, even though our brains subconsciously don't want to talk about death. We're all going to die at some point, and mass deaths happen. So I don't know why people think it's so crazy that all of us could die at once. There are events that can happen that we will all perish. It's incredible, including the rapture or the end times or end of the world or whatever you want to call it. An asteroid hitting, anything like this. I think people are denying just straight up reality at sometimes, which I don't really get. As far as this goes, it says the mission took the fridge-sized probe some 3 million kilometers from Earth, where it explored the asteroid Ryugu, whose name means Dragon Palace in Japanese, a reference to a castle at the bottom of the ocean in an ancient fable. Now, I'm sure anybody who looks into the kind of meanings of things, Dragon Palace, from the bottom of the ocean in an ancient fable. In April, Hayabusa 2 fired an impactor into the asteroid to stir up materials that had not previously been exposed to the atmosphere. It then made a perfect touchdown on the surface of the asteroid to collect the samples that scientists hope will provide clues into what the solar system was like at its birth some 4.6 billion years ago. So... what do you guys think about this? Give me a call at 224-400-MARF. I'd love to hear what you think about asteroids, about them possibly destroying Earth. Do you believe that? Do you think it's totally bunk? That's the whole point of this show. If you call in, you can debate it. You can say, hey, that's not what it's all about. UFO or satellite parade, Hawaiians alarmed by mysterious lights in night sky. Now, we have covered a lot of stories like this. For a month straight, we covered the snake-like UFOs. These are now in mainstream media. They talk about aliens and UFOs all the time. It's not a stranger to anybody now. In fact, they've done studies as high as 95% of all humans on Earth believe in some sort of aliens. Now, in America, I think it was like 70% or some crazy high percentage. And then they did another one. And essentially, people now, because of this, constant bombardment with articles and stories, that people do think that there is something out there. And that does show you, too, the reduction of, traditional religions. Obviously, that's one of their goals, too. Locals in Hawaii have reported en masse that mysterious near-perfectly ordered lights returned to the night sky after they first appeared the night before, Hawaii News now has revealed. This was a quote saying, "I was jumping up and down, freaking out like, what is that? What is that? It was pretty weird. I couldn't make any sense of it," Kayla Holiday told the outlet. Well, another viewer spoke to about 20 to 25 lights that resembled a Roman candle shot across the sky. Okay, so you guys are going to freak when you see... I'm going to show you guys the video tomorrow, most likely. I took a time lapse of the moon with the circle around it. Absolutely insane. As I took the time lapse, exactly what they're describing went right across it. And the trails at night, it was really cool because I caught the plane, and it went right over the circle. If you didn't see that, there was a halo around the moon last night, or at least in the West Coast or around Washington there was. And it was really bright. It was like when I was looking up at it, it was almost that feeling when you were at the bottom of a skyscraper looking up. It almost made me dizzy to see this thing. It was so clear, so bright. And then, of course, I kept catching these trails fade right across it. So a couple years ago, I never noticed the trails at night. Now I do. I mean, it's really crazy. And a lot of people have confirmed that as well. It says, Elon, is it you? However, the string of flickering lights remains a puzzle for witnesses, prompting speculations about their origin. While the National Weather Service said it was had not spotted anything suspicious, the Federal Aviation Administration, from whom the local media reached out for explanation, has not shed light on the matter either. Although there seems to be no official statement, the engineering company Oceanit suggests that the night show was produced by SpaceX Starlink mission, which had its Falcon 9 rocket release about 60 mini satellites to establish high-speed broadband internet around the world. If you haven't heard about why people are pissed off at Elon, these mini satellites and the things that he's releasing could actually stop any kind of astrophotographers from even getting good shots. What they show is with astrophotography, they have to take very long exposures, and these satellites are flying by, so you essentially get these lines across every photo. And the more satellites there are, the more lines that go across them. I mean, now if you look up in the sky, I mean, it doesn't take but, 15 minutes to spot, 3, 4, 5 satellites. So pretty nuts. It says there are said to be ordered in a line before dispersing. According to Oceanit's marketing coordinator, Hawaii was lucky to have prime viewing conditions that gave locals a good look at the show. Quote, they are consistently orbiting the Earth. It just depends on the location of the sun, how bright it is, where the shadow of the Earth is following. Everything affects the visibility. That's according to Oceanit marketing coordinator Leah Colburn. What do you think? Give me a call at 224-400-MARF. Okay.
Adam, there is a picture there if you want to see it. It's under the date. If you scroll back up to the top, November 14th.
I thought there was.
We'll load a tweet. Yeah. Just don't hit the t.co. Hit the November 14th.
Boom. Okay, so this is a picture that somebody got. Okay. Yeah. Okay, if you saw this in the sky, would you think satellite? No. But that actually would make sense if they did release 60 mini satellites. I mean, this one, I actually kind of, for once, they've talked about this for a long time, releasing these multiple tiny satellites. What do you think? Do you think that that's weird? If you saw that, would you freak the hell out? I probably would too if I didn't know about the whole Falcon 9 launch. But I have talked about this. I've covered this for, we've covered this for like a year, right? Them talking about these mini satellites. They're talking about building an exoskeleton around the entire Earth, like constant satellites every single place. They want 5G everywhere. It's pretty nuts. Not to get behind Deanna Drakeford, Bruce sees all fantastic videos and pictures of what's happening on the moon. Thank you. Appreciate that. Lori Walsh says, hey, wish it was more, barely making it. Don't even, sick doing chemo, lowered hours at work, but I want to keep you here because you are an awesome team telling facts to help, not harm. I would suggest to anybody, don't even worry about super chats. And again, through my entire show, I've never asked for them. So only do it if you can. Zelda, my ham radio hubs are something epic to share with you. Another subject that we want to talk about in the future is they're getting rid of repeaters. They're saying that ham radio repeaters are not necessary anymore. That's crazy, especially on California when the West Coast is going to completely, get devastated by Cascadia subduction zone. Itel Girl 468 has subscribed. Welcome. Thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Dennis Mitchell, update on Highway 99 tunnel evac message from 11/14/19. Dex, can you please look up Highway 99 tunnel evac? That is
yes,
that's very creepy. I don't even like that tunnel. I won't go through it. I went through it once just to see what it was like. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, look up Highway 99, the viaduct tunnel. Julie Day, signs and wonders in the sky. Marf, love to you, Dex and Foogle Fam from cold little England XX. Paradis, Semper Paratus, GTSY all today. That's awesome. That is great. Prepper Ilea, what's an astronaut's favorite key on the keyboard? Dex, can you guess that one? What's an astronaut's favorite key on the keyboard?
Oh, that's easy. It's a space key.
The space key? Really? The space bar. Gosh.
Space bar.
Sharing cheesy jokes is my forte. That's awesome. Fear Porn says, everyone hit that $sign in the chat bar and send Marv some love. They're giving everyone some free bucks to donate to your favorite YouTuber. Thank you, Fear Porn. I appreciate that. It is cool of them to do that. I guess it makes sense since they actually take a percentage of each one. Maybe they've been thinking that would be something good to do back, because all of them actually go a huge percentage to them. Maybe they're giving back. That's cool. Mr. Grumpy George Papa de Isaac says, good afternoon, Adam and Marfia. Don Beauregard, thank you. I appreciate that. Shauna has subscribed. Central Florida Prepper, much love and respect, Adam, Dex, and you guys are awesome. Foogle mods are the best. Hashtag Marfia, hashtag Foogle Fam. Diana Drakeford, thank you. Claire Bear, thank you. Dwayne Young, thank you. David Thorson, thank you. Hello from South Hill, Washington. What's up? Lisa Crane Mikesell, thanks for all you do. Dex do. Love the show and the Foogle Fam. Cuddly Crustacean, Vudek Cosmos, Frozen Marauder, Foogle Dexy, Todd Herndon. Okay, good. We're Trucker Matt. I've seen more shooting stars in Florida and Ohio over the past week than I have in my entire life. Love to the Foogle Fam. Jeez, this is incredible. Thank you guys. Farah 358, one is for you. Mama Kitty, thank you. Appreciate it. Dang, okay. Okay, so this next story, Dex, I got to pull you in for this. This is a big deal. If an is a Rizraeli, and sometimes if you've never seen this show before, I say some words a little bit differently because of Mr. Al Gore, Itham. If an Rizraeli stunner missile really did fall into Russian hands, it is a huge deal. Now, tell us what you think about this, Dex.
Well, in particular, this particular missile is state of the art, and it, I guess, has a self-destruct mechanism on it. And in this case, it apparently went to the ground and malfunctioned and never got damaged. And apparently, the locals, the Iranian territory, they picked it up, and apparently they may have given it to Russia. And that would be a very challenging thing for Rael, because they're going to have their technology now dissected by their opposing side.
Now, with a name like Stunner, what does this thing do? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what it is, other than it's one of their more cutting edge technology that they're using for their delivery of munition, right?
So, well, here's the craziest part. This is a brand new technology. It was the first use. This was the first time using it, and it screwed up and it didn't self-destruct. It says a stunner fell into Syrian territory without self-destructing in its first combat use. Now, a report says the Assad regime turned it over to Russia. Wow. This is incredible. I think this is, so what do you guys think that this is? I thought when I got the email about this from one of our viewers, military viewers, that actually has a cousin at Raytheon, they believed that this was some sort of EMP mini nuke combo, but I was not sure about that. So I would love to, with a name like Stunner, I mean, really? It says, in recent days, it has been reported that an errant stunner missile, the interceptor component of Rizrael's David Sling medium-range air defense system, fell into Syrian territory in a fairly intact manner. Supposedly, the Assad regime was able to recover it and transform the advanced weapon to Moscow for examination and technological exploitation. Stunner represents cutting-edge missile technology that is in some ways more advanced than any other system on the planet. The idea that Russia could gain very valuable insights into its technology is especially troubling, as surface-to-air missile systems have extremely high strategic importance for Russia and are one of the country's most successful arms. So this is a missile that we've designed in particular to get past Russia's advanced surface-to-air. And then, of course, if they have the technology, they know what it does, they can knock it right out of the sky. We've seen that all of the militaries are getting their drills going for some sort of huge battle. What were you going to say, Dex?
Yeah, Adam, I was just going to confirm that missile is actually co-built by both Rael and Raytheon.
Again, Board Savage asked a question, why do you pronounce things in the Middle East so strange? If someone in the chat can explain it, it will end up showing up right here in the chat. You can end up reading why we do that. Again, that is for Mr. Al Gore Itham. Okay. Rizrael is let's see here. There was actually a good part down here. Nearly a year and a half ago, the Jerusalem Post reported that 2 stunners were fired in an OTR-21 Tachka, NATO reporting Scarab, short-range ballistic missile that rose out of the western Raya for fear that it might fall into Israeli territory near the Sea of Galilee. The Russian-made ballistic missiles were fired by the Syrian army against rebel positions in the area after the stunners were already launched. It became clear that the ballistic missile was not a threat to Rael, and so the David Sling operators ordered the missile to self-destruct. One did just that, but the other failed to do so, careening into Ryan territory. So this is a big deal. This is actually a huge deal. 1 second. Sorry about that, Dex. If you can talk a second about this, I've just got to do something right here real quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obvious with our newest technology, whether it's ours or our allies, that we spend a great deal of time even building in things like self-destruct. We have it in a lot of our other very expensive equipment, and whether it's aircraft or defense systems, and we do, and other military equipment. We do that to protect the secret information, the technology that we have within that platform, and that helps us, defeat the other side. It's sort of obvious, but when the other side gets that, then they can reverse engineer it. They can start to take the parts, take the pieces apart, find the mechanisms that we're using to identify, how to infiltrate or how to be stealth or how to evade their tactics, and then turn around and use that against us. So it is a big deal. It's a very big deal, and that's why we invest a lot into the equipment to have self-destruct when it's important, sensitive, highly sensitive type of equipment. And when you see something like this fail, that's not good, not good at all.
Well, thank you, Dax. I appreciate that. So it's a pretty big deal that this fell in there. Obviously, it's extremely advanced technology. If you know anything about this, or if you actually know more about the missile itself, give us a call at 224-400-MARF. NK threatens military escalation as clock ticks on year-end deadline. It says there are seven weeks until NK's leader, Kim Jong-un, is scheduled to deliver a keynote New Year's Day speech that will come a day after his self-imposed year-end deadline expires for the United States to come up with new proposals to restart nuclear talks. On Wednesday, with Washington transfixed on the House impeachment inquiry, NK significantly raised the stakes, making an implicit threat to resume long-range missile or nuclear tests. In an official statement, the North said it felt, quote, betrayed by a U.S. decision to continue with the joint air drills with South Korea, calling it a, quote, undisguised breach of an agreement made with Kim and President T-Man in Singapore last year. As a result, NK said it was no longer felt bound by previous commitments that could signal plans to resume nuclear or long-range missile tests. So this is a big deal because honestly, they have found, or at least they've said that they've found, that these are way, way stronger than they originally thought. Now, everybody, again, underestimates NK, but NK is getting helped by other parties. I don't think people realize this, that, other enemies are actually giving them a hand up. They know that NK is crazy enough to do crazy stuff, and I think NK is almost being used. I think Kim Jong-un obviously had a meeting with China last year, took the train like literally and met with China's president, met with Russia's president. He did meet with Putin, correct? I know he met with China's president.
Yeah, he met with Putin as well, in addition to T-Man. So
yeah,
but it's like the temper tantrum throwing teenager that wants attention, except he's like highly armed, right? So, and all of a sudden, T-Man's sort of busy right now with everything that's going on in Congress, and maybe he's not getting the attention he needs, and so he's stomping his feet and pounding his fists on the table and saying he's going to push buttons.
Well, that's pretty incredible. Well, so the reason why they think that this is a big deal is a study finds that the DRPK's 2017 HBomb test was 17 times stronger than Hiroshima blast. In fact, we've gotten emails saying that they believe that it partially caused an issue, and that. Okay, so here's what I heard, and this is not fact by any way, but this was something that I thought was very interesting. Do you guys remember the submarine, the Russian submarine that caught fire just a few months ago? I covered it, and what they said, 14 Russian sailors on this incredibly super secret sub were killed in a fire. The submarine actually did not fully, it didn't fully get downed. It caught fire. It was compartmentalized, and then they tugged the submarine up and out. At their funeral, the lead official, it's super high military rank official, at their Russian funerals said that these men died, quote, avoiding a planetary catastrophe. So they helped. They're heroes, and they helped avoid a planetary catastrophe in this incredibly super secretive research submarine. In fact, nobody knows exactly anything about this submarine. Even military officials here said that even our top-ranking officials don't know much about it. They knew some of the facts, like how it was shaped inside and things like that, but they didn't know. Somebody said that DPRK accidentally did submarine tests and screwed up and dropped a very highly active something or other in the bottom of the ocean. And then some people think that the Russian submarine actually recovered that. And that's why it was so secretive, them going with escorts, everything else. And then some say that even during that time, they had to go into waters to help NK and get it, and then they crossed the boundary and actually got into a firefight with the U.S. That might sound nuts, but when you actually look into what happened, you remember this, Dex? How many people had their defense meetings that day? Mike Pence turned around on his plane.
Mm-hmm.
The Cobra had their meeting. What else? It was Russia had their meeting.
EU had their meeting. Russia had their meeting. Trump's calendar was cleared. Yeah, everyone had something around the world. All the major groups.
So that's what makes me believe something bigger than any of us can imagine happened that day, and we will never even know, or won't know for years and years and years. This is a top secret thing that happened, and none of us know what the hell happened. We're talking about avoided a planetary catastrophe. That means there was going to be a planetary catastrophe. See, this is the thing. People think that the planet's just going to keep rotating and everything's going to, or spinning, whatever you believe. They just think that nothing's ever going to happen. Look at some of the countries. Imagine some of the countries that have had these just absolutely enormous disasters, like Indonesia or Japan. Do you think that you're going to see 50 feet waves coming at you? No, you don't. And these things can happen. Do you think that you're going to, go through a 9.0 earthquake? No. Here, it's going to happen. United States is going to be torn. We could have 17 volcanoes go off at once. This is a crazy thought. And something happened here. And Yeah, I just think it's a pretty nuts. And again, if they really did have a nuke, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that say, "Oh, they can't. That that's BS. They're just making that crap up." Feel free to call in at 224-400-MARF. California high school is on lockdown after at least 5 people. And now, of course, I believe it says sheriff's deputies are on the hunt for a student suspected of opening fire inside the California high school Thursday morning, leaving at least 5 people injured and 2 of them critically. I'm not going to go too far into this. Obviously, here's the thing. When these happen, almost every news outlet covers it. Everybody at work tells you. There's no way you can go anywhere without finding out about what the last one of these is. You could be on the bus, you could be at work, you could be in the grocery checkout line. When these happen, people talk about it. They say, "Oh my gosh, did you hear what happened in Santa Clarita?" It's every single day. We are hearing about something like this. This is a different world. This doesn't even surprise people anymore. If you want to know the details on this, you can go to basically 70 different, media outlets. Again, horrible events happening almost every day. And they say that confiscation is the key. That's completely and utterly the dumbest thing in my mind, because that's not going to stop anybody from anything. Again, it's not the items that are doing the damage, it's the people. The insect apocalypse and what you can do about it. So I talked about this on Twitter, and I also mentioned that they actually believe that 41% of all insect species are at risk and face extinction. There's a lot of talk about all sorts of things dying, animals dying off. Some would say that this is a natural thing. I mean, we've seen, if you believe the fossils and the ages, you've got the Ordovirian, the Cretaceous, the Jurassic, all of these different eras, and they were all separate, animals. And then they all died off, or 75% of the animals died off, which is considered an extinction. This says that the number of insects is declining rapidly, and 41% of bug species face extinctions. If these massive declines continue, the ramifications are enormous, said Dave Golson, a professor of biology at the University of Sussex in the UK and the author of a new report on insect decline in the UK Wildlife Trust. It says 3/4 of our crops depend on insect pollinators. Crops will begin to fail. We won't have things like strawberries. That's a scary thought. We can't feed 7.5 billion people without insects. Now, I do know some people are going to say, who cares about this? But what I will say is people do care about the bees. If we lose bees, that's like end game. They say that we will die off if we don't have bees to pollinate, to, keep things, going. However, the report says we can all act as first responders and take relatively simple steps to help reverse what the report describes as, quote, catastrophic decline in the abundance and diversity of insects. Quote, insects live in our parks and gardens. Gardeners can really make a difference, he said. The bigger challenge is making farming more wildlife-friendly, pesticide reduction targets that would help enormously. What do you guys think about this? I think it's a little bit ignorant to think that every single thing is a hoax. As far as I understand that how they do a lot of things is they scare us to get us to fall in line. As far as the warming or cooling, whatever side you're on, to be honest, my view, I've said before, is I believe cosmic rays are more of a factor than humans are behind it, and the fact that it's most likely a natural cycle. But here's the thing, as far as like some of this, I don't think any of us know for sure, but I do know that there are real people who have spent their life studying these things, and things are changing, things are disappearing, animals are dying, there are mass die-offs. So maybe the reasoning behind why they're dying is being hid. but they're definitely dying, and they're definitely dying in masses. So I don't think that I just think it's stupid to think that it's just completely all fake, along with everything else. I mean, this is some real stuff. It says in Sichuan, China, farmers pollinate apple trees by hand. The heavy use of pesticides means the farmers have to do the bees' work, although hand pollination also increases productivity and allows for cross-pollination. So they say that it actually helps if they do it by hand. I don't think I would want to do that in my garden. Collapses in bug populations have been reported in Germany and in Puerto Rico, and a global scientific review published earlier this year estimated that on average, the number of insects is declining by 2.5% each year, with more than 40% of the insect species threatened with extinctions. In North America, the report said 5 bumblebee species have undergone massive declines in range and abundance in the last 25 years, with one, Franklin's bumblebee, going extinct in Ohio. The butterfly population has fallen by a third. I think that there's honestly some really crazy stuff going on here. Some folks might even say that it's because of the poles shifting. I'd love to hear what you guys think it is. Chinese killer robots sold to the Middle East will leave, quote, every human DEA dead. This is I've covered this for a year and a half. I don't know, Dex, I don't think you were with me when I covered all of these scientists were protesting the South Korea company that did AI. And specifically, what happened is they all of a sudden did a contract with the South Korean military, and people were like, okay, so you're going to do a contract with the military, you do AI and robots, and you're not making killer robots? And they said no, they denied it at first. But then later on, all these scientists came up, I think it was like 600 scientists from around the world protested them doing it because they knew 100% they were making not only killer robots, but AI-driven killer robots. We already know that these drones that they're making, the kind of predator-type drones, now can pick their own targets. Is that not one of the scariest things ever? We're talking about Skynet. Not to mention, there is a real Skynet. Predictive programming is one thing, but they actually have a Skynet that's going to go online, and it's basically I want to say it's a chip, or it's the main thing that is going to connect all of the 5G, the Internet of Things. And then we're going to have AI, quantum computing. What if you have AI and quantum computing together? It's literally going to be a science fiction film. That computer will say, okay, there's a big problem here. Humans are the problem, or this or that or whatever, and be able to be in control. Dex, here's one thing. So if you put AI, computers, robots, whatever you want to call it, and you connect it to the Internet of Things, you give it an AI Siri type thing, and quantum computing, the quantum computer could encrypt things from us, but we couldn't stop the quantum computer. Is that not correct?
Well, yeah, and I think the big thing with AI is it's really advanced today with our highly powerful computers and cloud computing. It's also very powerful with supercomputers. But the next step with the quantum computers, after they get past just the standard mathematical equations they're doing around encryption, is taking these big algorithms that we've used from AI, which we run through a supercomputer and we can build really cool stuff from, but then pumping that AI algorithm into a quantum computer, and it's unknown what level of intelligence it can automatically build in a split second.
And this whole thing, we've covered it over the last year, and I covered it when I was little, when I was talking to nobody. I think that we are progressing so fast that I don't think. I do think there's small groups. We've actually covered that too. There's groups that are against this, that are thinking of the consequences. I hate to use Elon as a example, but he says one of his biggest fears was AI. but then the guy does stuff that totally contradicts what he says because he's helping build, brain computers and all this stuff. With this is a big deal, and I don't think we're going to realize how far we went until we've gone too far. I think we're going to cross the line and then look back and realize that we screwed up really bad. It says China is selling its most advanced, quote, fully autonomous military drones with fears that it could lead to a bloodbath in the Middle East. The Asian superpower is reportedly selling AI-enhanced combat drones to the region with potentially disastrous consequences. Professor Toby Walsh of the University of NSW in Australia said, quote, they would be impossible to defend yourself against. Once the shooting starts, every human on the battlefield will be gone. Is that not the scariest crap you've ever heard? You're talking about these things you can't stop. I mean, literally, you shoot the crap out of them. They don't have any reaction. Perfect aim. Absolute. I mean, like, this is just insane. I mean, you're talking about one thing I saw was a video on talking about the skills of some of these. In fact, I wanted to say I saw like a blue version of this. What they have pictured. This might sound gruesome, but headshot every single time. And with armor-piercing bullets, you're talking about maximization of ammo. Like, they go out with 200 bullets, and that's 200 people. That is some incredibly scary stuff.
Well, Adam, let me ask you this: how would we defend? It's one thing to say, how do you defend against a couple of these drones in the sky? But let's fast forward maybe a couple years, and you look at somebody like Huawei, Chinese-owned, with their 5G technology, taking and deploying a fast, high-speed network across a battlefield where a supercomputer could control an entire swarm of these devices. How do you defend against a swarm of these coming through? And I say a swarm because it's just manufacturing, right? They just go manufacture these. They're small, they're quick, they're simple, they're probably not as expensive. And you're not dealing with one or two in the sky, you're dealing with 1,000 in the sky. Then what?
Well, they recently did a movie with that autonomous AI dog. It was called like Axe or something. Axel. I can't. If you saw the movie, it was about this kid that finds a government project, and it's this huge dog. Basically, it's a robotic dog. The movie was done, but the actual dog or whatever, I mean, that's actually going to be realistic in a couple years. But what was incredibly realistic, and they used off of real science, was how they show the drones, these drone swarms leaving the factory to go find the dog. And all of the drones worked in chorusing, and the way that they showed them looked like waves. And the thing is we already have that, and they don't even control those. They actually have AI and awareness of where they are as far as their spatial awareness, and they can adjust. So say a basketball is thrown, just like fish underwater, say somebody swims through a school of fish, they would just go around and they would adjust. I mean, that's what it looks like in the sky. If you've ever seen a school of fish kind of adjust around things, say a log's falling down, just all of them go right around it. It's absolutely nuts. Or like birds, birds in a flock, and something goes through, they just all go around it. This is going to be what I see is one of our downfalls. And it's definitely, I said, the next conflict is going to be absolutely bonkers. We're talking about, at least in WW1 and WW2, humans had a chance, like with skill and everything else. I mean, hopefully it's AI versus AI and robots versus robots, because, man, it'll be like one big episode of Robot Wars. He told a conference on artificial intelligence, quote, as we speak, the Chinese government is already exporting some of its most advanced military aerial drones to the Middle East as it prepares to export its next generation of stealth UAVs when those come online. So this is the most messed up part too, is this isn't like advanced against advanced. You're talking about selling it to countries that are straight up going to use it on humans that cannot defend against it. So, I mean, these things are going to go out and basically, I'm sure, innocent people and all sorts of things are going to happen. So, if you want to check out the rest of this, and it really is an interesting article, you can go again to MARFOOGLEnews.com. Go down below. It's called the Chinese Killer Robots. One of the most interesting ones in this whole batch. Biggest California earthquake in 2 decades ruptured on at least 24 faults. And of course, we're talking about the Ridgecrest, I believe. It says, when an earthquake strikes, the instinct of many Californians is to act which fault ruptured. The Newport Inglewood, the Hayward, the mighty San Andreas. But scientists are increasingly saying it's not that simple. New research shows that the Ridgecrest earthquakes that began in July ruptured at least 24 faults. It's just the latest evidence of how small faults can join together to produce a large earthquake, and how they can cover a wider area than many might expect. Dex, do you realize how important this is? These findings?
Yeah, this is we're evolving our understanding every day, and when we see something like this, it's just more evidence of what we think may be happening, what we think may be coming, the big one, as they call it.
And this is essentially saying that they can all combine, they can all do this. This just further says, if you guys have not seen the highlight or the main video, if you guys are morning watchers, if you have not seen over on the main channel, in fact, this video right here, let's see here. Trying to find it here. Let's see. Okay, so go up to top, Marfoogle News. That's super weird. Huh. We've been having issues, by the way. I just want to say, this is a live show that, by the way, it's 11:33 a.m., 11/15/2019. And for the record, a lot of people have said over the last year that we don't get affected by all this stuff. Somebody asked, Board Savage asked earlier in the chat, why do we say things so weird? We say things so weird so we can minimize minimize getting put into different categories. If you get put in expanded categories, you're not suggested to new viewers, and essentially anybody who does end up, doing an ad on your channel, which actually helps you be shared, you get put into a certain category. I actually went over that a few shows ago and explained what happens. Essentially, if you were on the other end of it, if you were going to buy advertising for your company, you have essentially 3 different groups you can go to. The limited, like the really good channels, perfect, like great viewers, and that's going to be very expensive for you. It's going to be like, $8 per every 1,000 views or whatever it is, right? That's called your CPM. You can pay, spend blah, blah, blah per 1,000 views, and that's going to get super expensive. If you get 20,000 views or whatever, I mean, it can get super expensive. $500 for like 20 minutes of advertising, right? Then there's the middle group, which most people are at, the standard inventory of channels. And then there's the expanded. So even if you see an ad on a channel, but say it's in the expanded, you're talking about maybe a few cents per 1,000 views, or like less, like 1 cent or whatever it might be for them to pay for that. It's basically the bottom of the barrel. You accept when you buy that ad on a channel that it has swearing, or it's violent, or it's this or that, which we are none of the above, but that's the category that we get put in. So people go, oh, they've got ads, they've got ads. Almost all of our videos now are in that category, and that's why you only see T-Man ads, or you see the guys who don't care about that, the get rich quick guys or whatever. Those are those are the cheapo guys. They just literally pay pennies. So again, this is happening to only certain things. So just want to let you guys know it's extremely important that we keep this kind of platform alive, period. December 10th, a lot of changes going in. A lot of people are scared of it. So please keep that in mind and go support your fellow YouTubers. Like, just got an email today. Somebody said that they can't find the YouTubers that I'm suggesting. Jacob Israel. Couldn't even find him. So go support people like that, especially our friend Jacob Israel. Again, let's see here. With the faults, I think we kind of covered a lot of this over the last week. This is more proof that all of these things are connected and something's going on. A lot of people believe that there is something huge going on underneath California, and the plates are locked and loaded and about to go. It's pretty crazy. 9-year-old child genius to graduate university. Now, this is nuts. It says a child prodigy from Belgium is on course to gain a bachelor's degree at the tender age of 9. This is like straight up, and I tweeted this out. This is the real Doogie Howser. At 9, he is about to get his engineering degree, and he's actually moving on to, get this, med school. So by, say, 13 or 14 or whatever, this kid's going to be literally a legit, like, doctor. By 18, he'll have 8 years in college or whatever it is, or 8 years in med school. So, or he might be done with med school and a master's in history or whatever the heck he's moving on to. Literally, the kid is 9. This is unbelievable. And he's about to get his master's in engineering. Pretty crazy. How Chilean protesters took down a drone with standard laser pointers. Video of Chilean protesters using beams of green light to ground a police drone made the rounds on social media. But those aren't tractor beams or green lantern rings. The protesters appear to be using the run-of-the-mill laser pointers to take down law enforcement-grade technology. How does that work? Well, Chilean protesters took to the street last month to speak out against a proposed increase in public transit fares, though the demonstrations now have turned into a countrywide expression of anger about low wages and inequality. Video posted to Reddit late Tuesday appears to show training laser pointer pens on a police drone in attempt to bring it to the ground. As more light beams make contact with the unmanned aerial system, or UAS, it falters, then almost escapes before a coordinated effort brings it slowly to Earth. The laser pointers could have taken down the drone in the video in one of two ways, according to Christopher Williams. It says, which is who's working with Customs and Border Protection. And it says to deploy anti-drone bubbles along the border. It says if the drone was being flown manually by an operator watching through a first-person video, or the bright lights might have blinded the camera, causing the operator to lose control. Alternatively, quote, low-powered lasers have the ability to interfere with infrared landing sensors, as well as the downward-facing cameras that detect obstacles below, forcing a landing or uncontrolled drone behavior. Pretty nuts. Took it down with lasers, which, by the way, a couple weeks ago, we told a lady, this lady actually called, she was, what state was that lady in? She was in Texas. She essentially was being followed by a drone every night on her walk. And it was actually law enforcement. It wasn't like somebody. It was a big drone. And somebody said to point a laser pointer and see what it is, or point a flashlight at it. And of course, we corrected that. And we were like, don't do that. First of all, pointing a laser pointer here or anywhere FAA is up to a $250,000 fine. If you point a laser pointer at a registered aircraft, which every drone above 250 grams is. So almost every drone you see, like bigger than this, is a registered aircraft. So you cannot, even if you hate it or you think, oh, that guy's looking into my house, I wouldn't mess with it because you can get in serious trouble even if it's a civilian flying it. Paramedic accused of cutting diamond ring off of dead patient's fingers. Now that is effed up. It says an Arkansas paramedic was arrested Monday for allegedly cutting a 1.7 carat diamond ring from a deceased woman's finger at the hospital and selling it at a pawn shop. That's just disturbing. It says authorities say Lisa Darlene Glaze, 50, cut off a single Marquise diamond ring with a gold band from the hand Gloria Robinson, who had experienced a medical emergency and was transported October 16th to Vincent Hot Springs and later pronounced dead. After her death, Robinson's personal effects were given to her sister and her husband, who noted 3 of Robinson's rings were missing. Wow, so she didn't just take one, she took all of them. The victim's sisters asked the paramedic, later identified as Glaze, where the rings were, and Glaze did not answer her and walked away, according to the probable cause affidavit. A paramedic was arrested Monday on a felony theft charge for allegedly stealing a ring from a patient who died at Chicago St. Vincent, reportedly cutting the ring off the woman's finger. Oh, gosh. Can you imagine being the pawn shop worker? And like, why'd you cut it? And then finding out about this story. That's pretty gross there. So we're gonna get the phones open here in just a second. If you guys want to help support us, you can go to empshield.com and put in the code MARF and end up getting any kind of the EMP. So EMP Shield will protect you. Again, EMP Shield is actually currently working with the DoD and Homeland Security to beef up our grid. This is a big deal, and you're going to see in the near future, and we're going to show you that this is a huge threat, and we're going to have some guests that are actually going to tell you exactly what's going on. It's basically agreed upon in many different areas that this is one of the biggest threats to the United States. And some say, and in fact, we've shown you, only one report out of 579 attacks on our grid were reported, and that was actually in the NERC report. So we've shown you that there's basically stuff going on every single day, and nothing's happening. Nobody's getting told. Again, it works against E1, E2, and E3 phases of an EMP, and it will protect against a CME. Anything plugged in to this device within its range will be protected against this. And they've tested it multiple times. It's military standard, tested by Keystone. Again, this is what they are actually working with our government with as well. For the consumers, you can actually get multiple different models. If you look, you've got watercraft, motorcycle, RV protection, solar protection, home protection, vehicle protection. I mean, you've literally got every kind. Again, I misspoke yesterday. You actually get $75 off with the code MARF, which is the biggest discount they've done on every device that you get with that code. So again, they are doing a special deed for the Foogle Fam. If you guys think that this is just a company, it's not. These guys are absolutely ingrained in the Foogle Fam. They've helped out Foogle Fam. They've started GoFundMes for Foogle Fam. They've actually helped people out without even being asked. And again, they actually care about people being protected. In fact, the owner could live the rest of his life just dealing with the government off of their, government contracts. But he says he wants every single person in the United States to have an EMP shield wired into their house or into their vehicle. Again, if you don't have one of these, your car's not going to go anywhere. If you don't have one of these, your generator is not going to start. Again, you can get models for all of those. All right, and then nothing in this show should be considered medical, legal, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals, and the internet is full of fake news. So please take everything with a grain of salt. That's why it is so incredibly important that we talk about these things. We don't consider them taboo. Now, Marfoogle News, huge deal. Super impressed. Again, people say we're not held back. It took us like 2 months to get like 300 subscribers over on the main channel. We were gaining. This is no joke. And I showed my analytics to a couple people. We were gaining 210 people a day, and we were losing 210 people a day. It was nuts. It was like, this is from 144 to 145 was one of the biggest grinds ever. but we made it. Now it's at 145,000. If you want to share this with friends, please, share it with at least 2 or 3 friends of yours. Marfoogle.news. If you give them that actual just marfoogle.news, it automatically goes and it brings them to the page to subscribe. In fact, I don't even think they can go past their browser without subscribing. So, good way to share it. Or you can share Marfoogle TV, this channel, at marfoogle.tv. Again, that has shorter edited videos and live emergency broadcasts. Join the Foogle Family Discord. There's over 11,000 people in state groups. Say you live in Kansas, you can go into Kansas state, the group. You can actually meet with like-minded individuals that are looking up at the sky, pointing at the plains, or, preparing for earthquakes, whatever it may be that your area has. There's like-minded individuals in almost every city in every state. Again, if your city doesn't have many people in it, then start a group yourself. People meet on a weekly, monthly, bi-monthly basis now, all under this channel name. So this is more than a YouTube channel. It's actually, we've gathered almost 12,000 people, and people are preparing for any kind of disaster. The whole point of this is not to, say it's the end of the world, but to be prepared if it is. So again, go to marfooglenews.com, sign up for Marfoogle alerts. If you would like to see The Earthing Movie, a full-length feature film that was shown in theaters and red carpet debuted just a few months ago, you can go to marfooglenews.com/GT. And then again, if you would like to support the channel, a commission of ground therapy products goes to us. We are trying to build our channel. We are trying to bring on 2 more people to help us with the news. You can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. You will actually get free shipping on all orders with the code MH. Again, this is something I believe in. We don't do any kind of product that we don't think is absolutely amazing and that I don't use. I actually sleep on these every night. It's helped me, especially with my digestive and my sleep. It's incredible. Any kind of inflammation, you plug this in, you go to sleep on it, you forget about it. marfooglenews.com/earthing. Make sure to remember that code MH for Muriel Hemingway. And then, of course, you've got the Marfia shirts. All proceeds from our t-shirts go towards the charity Cars for Heroes. Again, we're debating ways of we might change this to actually help people get different things. We're trying to figure that out right now. For now, though, all sales 100% go towards Cars for Heroes. It's a actual cause that essentially helps out veterans that do not have transportation. So, and you get to look cool in your new Marfia shirt, Love Mob shirt, or the Marfia shirt, which we do need a better picture of, because the coolest part is it has the Deep State, the Cabal on the little Puppet Master thing, and basically you're cutting free. marfooglenews.com/t-shirts. Okay, with that being said, let's see here. We're going to get the first call going here. And but can I go deeper? Shake a lip slowly. So close, still a fever. Come on, the girl so weak.
Adam, if you can hear me, I cannot hear you.
Sorry about that. Let's get the first caller over. And
okay,
then,
Adam, I'm going to transfer Kathy Diana to you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Meanwhile, Skylar Chaos says, hello, fam. We've got Joseph Vanderlick, Sacramento, California military moving mass amounts of equipment, gas trucks, radars, generators, Humvees in convoys. What's going on? Again, to repeat, Joseph Vanderlick says, Sacramento, California military moving mass amounts of equipment, gas trucks, radars, generators, Humvees in convoys. What's going on? That's crazy. Striker Chaos, hello fam. John J, can I be foogified? West of I-5 will survive. I guess that's a part of a, if you've got friends and you're well prepared, I think anything is survivable. T. Fisher, thank you. I appreciate that. Totally unnecessary, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Smorby the Great and Beautiful, I thank that as well. Joseph Vanderlick, tyranny of Roger Stone case is disgusting. Joseph Vanderlick says, judge in Roger Stone case puts secondary gag order on Roger Stone. Judge calling for AJ to be arrested for calling T-Man to pardon Roger Stone. Wow, that's crazy. Florida Patriot 71, so great to have you on during the day. Sorry I'm late. Thanks for all you do for us, you, Dex, and of course our families, your families. Love you, Foogle Fam. Hawk Davison, shekels for one who traded true friends for cash. Okay there, bud. Hawk Davison, I miss you, buddy. You got to come back. Alec Beckboo, last one. Alec Beckboo, might as well give you the rest of these. I appreciate that. And one more. Alex Beckboo, I'm Russian and I approve this message. Oh, I love it. Even the trolls are supporting. T. Fisher, I don't know why I can't get even amounts to donate. Thanks, gents, for the news. Things are changing. Open Your Eyes is subscribed. Welcome. Again, that's Things Are Changing. Open Your Eyes. Mods, make sure to welcome people. Psalm 91, please help your friend John X Army. He is deceived. John X Army, I believe is, he's his own man and I just try to push him up and give him as much. I would say, push the guy up instead of saying that kind of stuff. Give him compliments. Tell him he can do it. I think that he went on a journey and sounds like he's kind of coming back. Free Roger Stone, if you can even say it, convicted 50 years later for helping T-Man get elected. Call White House respectfully and ask to pardon. Now, of course, that's the caller saying that. Thanks to the mods, and I agree, but we got to be careful about what we say. Thanks to the mods for keeping it real, making it work for the girls. Again, back to back. Thank you. I appreciate that. Spud Ruckus, why can't the potato skydive? It's a hesitator. Wrong Pill, thank you so much. Making it work for the girls. Love you, Marf, and all Foogle Fam. Making it work for the girls. Writing a message. Quote. I like it. Rebecca Chapa, thank you and your team for all you do. I look forward to each and every show, whether I catch you live or a rerun. The people running the show have such a hold on people's minds, and it's terrifying. SP111 says, love the show. Mama Kitty. Emoji, kitty, picture, emoji. His Quinn 711, love you, Marf. Your show is the first place I go for news. Wrong Pill, there is property for sale right now on a USDA auction, which is a repeater station they listed at disposal at gsa.gov. If I recall correctly, it isn't on the West Coast. Arkansas, maybe? Central Florida Prepper, the Stunner is part of the David Sling program, an intercepted missile. Jennifer EH17, I can't remember my life without Marf, Dex, and the fam. Let's grow this together. Let's get busy. Much love and blessings from the very cold Scotland. The Hearing Aid NK, thank you. I appreciate that. Jody7, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Set Apart in Mississippi, thank you for all you do. JT, thank you so much. Helen Roberts, thank you for all your work. Farrah 358, one is for you. Okay, perfect. Got them all out of the way. And his Queen 711 says, from me and Vinderlick, we love you. Brandy Weems and EpiPen didn't kill himself. And Mary Osberg, thank you for going over to Patreon during the show and pledging. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Kathy, you are live on Marfoogle TV.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Hi, Marf. Well, I hired Aloha, I should say. I hired a lady on Monday to run my business, and she probably gave me 6 hours of business stuff during those 3 days. On Wednesday morning, I had to fire her to get her out of my house. I told her you can either ride down the mountain or walk. When I got down to the end of the road, she wanted water. I said, I got 300 gallons of water at home. You're asking me for water here. I pulled into the parking lot, asked her to get out of my car. She wanted $120 to pay her rent at a shelter. The police officer, because I went inside to get the money, and when the police officers came because she wouldn't get out of my car, she filed a thing against me that I did not want to pay her for services rendered. And the officer looked at me, said, "You're on camera." I said, "Yeah." I hired her, but she didn't work that many hours. And the officer said, "You just admitted to guilt. You need to get this woman's money." And she wanted $200 by the time she talked to the officer. "You need to get the money, and then we won't go further with this report, and I'll count it." Well, when I went inside, the store machine was broken down, so I went up and drove my car over, came back, gave the officer the $200, and that was it. I left. I was so flabbergasted, beyond. And she was a real good praying woman, but she was like taking over my home, deciding to cook, deciding to do that. So anyway, this stuff where you're proven you don't get a chance to prove anything. You said you were guilty. Pay up happened Wednesday morning to me. Also, this morning I had. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking to me?
No, I'm not. So what somebody said that they're confused, but I kind of get you. What you're saying is you had no chance to say you're part of it. They were threatening to arrest you if you didn't pay, correct?
Right.
But you didn't get to go to court. He should have left it to civil court, right?
Well, the thing is that she's an accountant secretary, has all this stuff under her belt, mess with my computers. All I could do is write up everything happened in my journals because the situation, because I told her she could have the money. I just figured the woman had some kind of faculties because you don't do that to people. When I asked her to come in the store with me, you know what I mean? You don't turn around and do that. But she just did move over from an abusive situation from another island. So, and she's in what is called, it's the largest tent city. It's huge. It's withstood 3 hurricanes. These tents are just unbelievable. So I decided she needed her rent. And if I was out another $80, no problem, because I know she was having problems with her phone. So I just gave her the money just to end it. And it's all supposedly on tape, but there you go. It really happened. I mean, she used her camera, said I admitted to guilt, pay up. That's literally what the officer said.
Wow, Kathy.
You need to go get the money. Yeah.
And you also had the AI in the submarine. What was your comment on that?
Well, the AI was, I had a dream this morning. I don't have a lot of artificial intelligence. It was about Alexis, like the machine that runs your house. Okay? You can lock your doors, close your doors, all that. And me and another lady were trying to, her husband was chasing her through this really long building. And every time we would say door closed, he would say door open. And we would go to the next room, door closed, and he would say door open. And we went over like a bridge over the freeway. Like, I don't know if you've been to Tacoma to the Glass Museum. It was like that, only that it was a whole building. I figure that what it is about is anybody that has access to your AI within your home. If you're having a problem, they can counter it. And also that there was China had put out these street lights that are actually weapons. I forget the person who has it on his channel, but he took it all apart, and it was using 400 kilowatts of energy, which you only need like 1 or something to run these LED street lights. He took it all apart and showed it to us. It was made in China. It can be actually used for a weapon. The other thing I was going to share with you was the submarines that the 14, those men on that submarine were highly decorated Russian officers, some of their top men that were on that submarine. And they had a big volcano go off just at the chain of Russia, where Alaska kind of meets all that in there, those little islands. And from what I understand, them stopping a big catastrophe had to do with lava trying to enter into the ocean. I thought it was from San Francisco because it's flowing under California.
Well, so Kathy,
So,
but we just wanted to make sure you knew we're a bit over time here.
I know.
So
I know we couldn't get me on, but I just thought I'd let you folks know that, like what you said, and I've been watching that. Lino, that the man that's a attorney online, and I should have just said this, said that, but I did not want to get locked into the legal system over here. Is the reason why I paid up and took care of it. Because if I want to leave, I don't want to have any other cases tied up here legally. Because
you also don't want Dog the Bounty Hunter to get you.
I wish that man would snap out of it and get busy. I have a whole neighborhood of meth drug dealers, and they don't do nothing about this stuff.
I know, it's crazy.
The whole house is full of.
I would never think, if I didn't see on that show, I wouldn't have ever known that. And then my sister was in Hawaii for 11 years, just recently moved off. I didn't realize that Hawaii is one of the worst affected by meth. I did not know that until Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Out of all 50 states, it's so bad that one guy brings it over from SeaTac, 2 of them take it into the prison. These are my neighbors. Last night, the people that do drive-through drug dealing, like Burger King, he revved up his Harley Davidson because my kids in the back of the property have mopeds, and they woke up their family. My husband's running around. He put up a 10-foot high cedar fence. And I told him once, well, when do you get us some weapons? He says, well, it's not time yet. I maybe last night let him know that it was.
Well, thank you, Kathy.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Stronger than it all.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you. All right.
Bye.
All right. God bless. Bye. I didn't want to drop. We've got 3 callers here on deck. Up next, we. Okay. So update on Dex. What was the update on the WSDOT tunnel in Washington?
Hey, Adam, I put an article in there. If you want to show it, the tunnel, I think it was yesterday, had told everybody to evacuate. Nobody really did.
Sorry about that, guys. I probably blasted everybody's phones there. Something went wrong with our sound system. So the tunnel that they built with Big Bertha in Seattle, they told people to evacuate, but they didn't get out. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think the headline was that they had told people to evacuate for whatever reason, and then most people actually didn't. And then I guess they eventually reopened it. I didn't. The article's there. I didn't go through it in detail. I found there's a couple links to it, but this was yesterday, not today.
Okay. Up next, we have Nika. Nika, you are live on Marfoogle TV.
Hi. I can't believe I really sorry. Yes, I was calling about the issue you were talking about with the animal or insect dying off and the crab.
Okay. And then I have a video here that apparently you want us to see. So let me pull that up. Go ahead. What do you think about it?
I definitely agree, that there is something going on. But if we tie it into the biblical references and the Bible, we could actually see like the book of Revelation panning out. Because technically in the book of Revelation and in the Bible, they speak about, in the end times, how it would be like pestilence, it would have famine, you would see a change in the weather unlike we ever seen before, and all of these things would happen simultaneously together. So I feel like although man have a hand in it, the Bible is playing out. Like how God allow us to do what we want to do because of our free will. We just basically allowing what God predicted from the beginning to come through right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think that there's a lot going on with, you know, the whole planet and with Earth and everything that's going on.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's what I basically wanted to state, and I just want people to keep a lookout for that, because I know people getting wrapped up with, a lot of people don't believe in the Bible and they just believe in what man said. And although men may see like, okay, like this higher ups might see like they have a hand in it, because if we look at Agenda 21 is exactly what's going on right now. And I believe they changed it from Agenda 21 to Agenda 30 or Agenda 31. So if we look at all the information that we are receiving right now, these things, they were slowly being put into effect from years ago. You know what I mean?
Yes, and it's kind of funny how they changed it from Agenda 21 to Agenda 30, and nobody's being fooled by the whole thought that they are. So if you guys didn't know, it seems like they have plans to move us all into super cities for sustainable life, and they're telling us we have 12 years to survive. What's going to happen in a few years? There must be something big that triggers all of us to go into super cities, right? Why does Deagle and all these others say that our population is going to reduce by 2/3? Like, there's multiple things. The World Health Organization says that there's going to be a pandemic, and they basically show us and our allies surviving the most out of everybody. I mean, this is just weird stuff. What would they need to move us into super cities and smart cities? Probably a big event.
That's true. But if we look at the book of Revelation with the whole mark of the beast, in order for that to occur, they have to depopulate. You know what I mean? And it's just all a part of the agenda before the whole, the mark of the beast come out. But they can't just say hey, the mark of the beast. They have to try to control the population. And in the book of Revelation, it also states that the population would decrease, and it speaks about the 10 kingdoms. And if we look at it, the 10 kingdoms actually don't include America. And that's the one thing that I, point out, or that I recognize that, this saying that this is the agenda they want to carry out. They could try to carry it out, but that don't mean it's going to be carried out as they, envision it. And I feel like they move it from Agenda 2021 to Agenda 2030 because, 2021 is going to be next, 2 years from now, and they're not going to be able to roll out their plan. You know what I mean? So they're trying to push it out to give them more time. And it's going to come into play because I believe in the Bible, and I believe that everything happened in the Bible will come through, but it's just when. Even to the comment, you see how now lately we've been looking into space and the comment, and it says we have fireballs. In the Bible, it states that wormwood, which is like a comment, is going to come and destroy, a lot of people, So if you put those things into, if you line the Bible up with what they're saying, it seems like they're trying to get ahead of the Bible, but they can't because the Bible was written before all of this came into fruition. But yeah.
Well, and you are right on so many things, especially the wormwood, everything else that they're doing and they're showing us. I wanted to point out one thing here too. There's this graph on this Agenda 2030. It says increase resource efficiency. I wonder how you do that. Maybe have less people consuming it. Govern the environment. This is one of their main things. Govern the environment and combat climate change. These are some weird kind of keywords that they're using all in these things. Increase resource efficiency. I think that they're going to have some weird ways to do that. But yeah, I appreciate you calling. Again, you're a first time caller. I've never, would love for you to call in again too. You're kind of on track with what I think is well too. Thank you.
And I hope, like, I shed some light on the situation. Hopefully, I was like a helpful caller. But I appreciate you taking my call. And I just want to say, keep up the good work, you and Dex, and don't mind the naysayers, because people going to tag. And what you guys do, just keep up the good work, because I can't talk to my family about this. Although they will be like, yeah, we know, because they believe in the Bible, they know. But although they know and believe in the Bible, I still want to have somebody to talk to about these things. I don't just want to brush it off. So I really appreciate your platform, being a platform where we could come and, dialogue.
Well, thank you so much, Nika. And I popped up your channel. I do think you should talk about some of this stuff. You have a lot of people that agree with you here. Get Glamorized By is all one word, and then Nika. This is her channel, and you guys can head over if you agree with her. That's the whole point of this. Like minds can come together and talk about the things that they want to without being taboo. Thank you so much, Nika, for calling in, and we will talk to you next time.
Okay, bye.
All right, have a good day. Some people are saying no notification. Always follow me on Twitter at Marfoogle. We always put out a exact Twitter notification. There's been a couple shows where I missed, but I've basically done it every time as part of a checklist. So make sure to follow on Twitter. Biggest way, that's our notification machine. That's how it started. I also post some of my opinions that I don't share on YouTube, and I don't censor myself on Twitter. Up next, we have Pastor Mac. What's going on?
Oh, just a beautiful day here in Kentucky today.
Well, it's nice to meet you. So I believe this is your first time call, correct?
That's correct. I've been watching your programs for a long time, at least a year and a half, when you first started, and enjoy it.
And you wanted to talk about end times and current events and prophecy.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to you and Dex for the news you do every day that brings us the true news events of what's going on. The media cannot be believed. They put out so much fake news. And for me, being a pastor, it's important that I know what is really going on so I can relate it to Bible prophecy and where we stand today. I study and teach and preach a lot from the book of Daniel, the book of Revelations, and the New Testament. And so many things in Revelation are being fulfilled every day. I woke up about 2.5 or 3 years ago, and it really shocked me when the Lord woke me up to know what's going on in this world. And I'm trying to warn people to prepare for what's coming, and I just feel like it's coming soon.
Well, I guess for you as a pastor and well, thank you for what you do, first of all. And literally, it seems like people are just disappearing. Everybody's turning into atheists. The new generation doesn't believe in God. So you have your work cut out for you. As far as, do you get looked at different? Just a curious question. As a pastor who kind of talks about Revelation and end times, do you feel like some people look at you a little bit differently because you talk about some of this stuff, or that you cover some of that?
Yeah. Yes, they do, because they are still asleep and they don't want to be awake to what's going on in the world and how we're moving towards a one world government and all the things that the one world people are trying to push on us. And that's around the world, not just here in America. They're driving towards this one world government, and that brings in the end times, the earthquakes, famines, pestilences, war that we see so often today.
Well, if you need any help from me with YouTube or anything, first off, so Pastor Mac is putting up videos. He's become active on YouTube. So if you guys all want to help, this would be definitely a most welcome love mob. We have almost 2,000 people here, and we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be watching the replay. If you guys want to help out Pastor Mac and go check out his channel, it's pretty easy to find. It's Pastor Mac. Pastor, I want to thank you for what you do. And then as well, I know you've got a really tough job right now, and especially if you are talking about some of the subjects that you are. I've known pastors, and I taught. In fact, the last church I was at, I'm too far away from now, but he talked about these subjects. There's a way, and there's a way you can really do it to make sense to people without, having them think that we're wearing tinfoil hats. The thing is there's a lot of facts there. The pastor that I had last, he was really good at actually showing documentation because he had a big amount of people that were, higher end, doctors, lawyers, things like this, and they needed to see proof. So if you ever need any of my help, please let me know. And thank you for what you do.
Thank you for the opportunity today. God bless you and Dex and just all the Foogle family. Enjoy your show so much.
Well, Pastor Mac, you're always welcome on this show. If maybe, please reach out to us. Maybe you can come on and we can ask you questions about, church-related topics or something.
That sounds great.
And then help you spread your message. Okay. Well, thank you, Pastor Mac. I appreciate your call, and you're always welcome here, okay?
Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right. God bless you, too. That is super cool. Okay. Again, that's Pastor Mac. Let's refresh here. Boom, 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 boom. 68 subscribers. So that's a big improvement from 1 subscriber. Let's try to get him to 1,000. Then he could live stream from his phone if he wants to do some pastoral vlogging. Need more of that. Up next, we have Snafu Snaps. What is going on? You were live on Marfoogle TV.
How's it going, Adam and Foogle Fam? Man, I just wanted to bring something to the attention you covered when you were talking about the space and the satellites and Elon Musk and everything. I thought it was important. Maybe I could bring to attention.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So you've covered a lot of things that made like I remember we one time we were talking about follow the money, and boom, you covered something, and one of the callers and I and some others put it together, and it happens all the time with Marfoogle TV, man. He'll say it, and sure enough, he'll be there. Well, I do a lot of politics, and T-Man is one of the stuff that we kind of look into, just stuff like that. The optics are high, and with Space Force and Elon Musk doing the SpaceX program, I mean, it was like taxi cabs going up and down, and we were like, man, what are they hauling up there other than just what they're not telling us? Well, T-Man just recently has been talking about going to the moon, and then from the moon, we are going to launch from the moon to Mars. He said we'll be the first ones to put an American flag on Mars. But the fact is he's been very vocal as saying that we will launch from the moon, which means they've been building up there and they have preparations, and who knows really what is up there and what they've been transporting. And if we see rockets go up there or things like that, movements, I just thought it was interesting because he's been vocal. He said, we will launch from the moon, which means there has to be stuff up there, obviously.
I mean, that means already what I think is that there's some sort of base or some sort, and I think that it's been there for a while. What I thought was funny is when he reacted when T-Man said on his interview, he was sitting in his chair, and I believe it was in the Oval Office, and he was like, he goes, well, I asked him, why are we trying to go to the moon? And he's like, well, we're not, sir. We're going to the moon to launch to Mars. And he said that in the interview, and it genuinely looked like T-Man just found out, like somebody told him, like filled him in on it. And I'm just like thinking,
it was amazing.
I think it's kind of funny. And then we've seen the lights on the moon. We've seen the sparks and the flashes from the moon. I mean, come on. Like,
and then didn't they just come out and say something about half of it was titanium or something recently, and then the whole Earth and the atmosphere of the moon, or just a lot of like space talk, a lot of optics of it, and then with Space Force and everything. And I just wanted to remind everyone that as you said, in the Oval House, right there in front of all the press and everything, he specifically said we will launch from the moon to Mars, and his second in hand, has been talking about the Mars project as well. And that just means, as you said, things have been up there for a long time, which many of us have known about for a while, but it just shows you how, like, the SpaceX were basically taxi cabs, in my opinion, just hauling stuff up and down. But I just, the optics are high with space talk, man, spaceports. We're going to see a lot more come out.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you on that one. And I've been talking about all of the different space-related missions. Of course, now, not everybody agrees. Some people don't believe... and then we've got... Actually, OG Johnny B says you can't land on the moon. I don't know anymore, honestly. I used to think that, too. Yeah. I used to think that, too. I don't know anymore.
It's crazy, man. And that's what I'm saying, is all we know is what we see, and the theater and the optics, I guess I like to say. And all I know is T-Man said that out of his own mouth. And like I said, we're a lot of religious guys were on there. I use this for unreligious, for AA classes or people in NA classes. One of my favorite verses was Proverbs 3:5. And just go look it up. I won't say it, but if you guys have your Bibles, look it up.
Well, you know what I thought was weird? I don't know if you saw the show the other day when we were talking about how the universe is like on a linear line. Did you realize that?
It's amazing. You hear all this stuff. I mean, it's kind of like when you heard there was only 4 types of clouds, and nowadays you open up a history book and there's a million different. I remember just a cumulus cloud, and you know what I'm saying?
I just, everything is in 3D, and yet everything, all the planets spin around like this. They don't go like this. You guys know what I mean, right? If you had a baseball and there's one baseball going like this, kind of in the, like if you look at Saturn, right? How the ring is diagonal. The ring is diagonal, but all the planets spin around like this, apparently. Yes, we spin, so it looks like they're going at different angles, but it's all a linear line, apparently. If I would have known that years ago, I would have been asking a lot more questions way long ago. I just think that's weird.
It's almost like, they could only disclose so much. And, of course, it's all what we're told, this and that. But, I mean, the fact is things are happening on a supernatural and physical, and now I'd say astronomical level, spiritual, everything. And, I mean, it's amazing to see, even if you believe in it or not, the optics are all about it. With Elon Musk, the T-Man, other entities, Russia, China. I mean, it's all there. And thank you for covering it, man. I appreciate a channel who can give people a platform to talk about these subjects.
All right, man. Well, you have a good day, man, and stay out of trouble, and please try to get some positivity out there, man. Appreciate you, man. Snafu Snaps. You guys can check out his channel here. Go ahead and check him out. All right, thank you, Snap.
Much love.
All right, have a good night.
All right, bye.
Up next, we have Matt. Hello, Matt. You were live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, not a whole lot. What's going on, my man? So I just got off the phone with Dex, and I was telling him about the topics. I wanted to, I'm in the car driving right now. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, there's some predictive programming in most everybody has probably at least heard of one of the new video games, Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
It seems like Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I'm sure, I don't know if it's kind of, my skepticism's coming out, and it's like, they depict some T attacks and stuff. I just kind of wanted to comment on it. It might be worth looking into if there's some people who hasn't, like, heard of it at all, because I know you have listeners that's kind of pretty much all across the spectrum, so.
Oh yeah. So did you play it yourself? What are like, without saying too much, what are they? Because okay, so first off, these games are super realistic. The graphics are almost real, and then they show fake events, but like real event. I mean, like it's just like a movie. What did it show?
Yeah,
was there cities or?
Well, I haven't played all of it, but there's a couple of things that kind of took me aback. But like, there's pretty clear depictions of the Ruski military and the like operations between CIA or whatever and them, and like how it's interesting. And this is like all in the very early stages, and then it kind of like shifts, and it like the next mission is completely unrelated, and it happens like in the EU area. I don't know exactly where, but it's kind of like in a big city somewhere in this like depiction of the EU or some European area potentially, and it talks about having like domestic T cells, and then it shows like as part of that you're playing, I don't know if it's SAS or if it's like whatever their depiction of SAS is, or their depiction of like police officers, but like you're going into these listed cells in this game and getting rid of them kind of deal. And this is like in cities that look westernized. And I thought it was pretty peculiar.
So you're saying it kind of predicts that we're going to be taken over or something. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just like kind of like the domestic T cells that would be that people think is scattered all over the place. I don't really know. Like I haven't gone far enough in it to know the full plot line on that. So like I just kind of wanted to mention it just to like for people to just look into it if they haven't heard about it.
Well, what I'm going to do is, because I don't have time to play the whole game through, I will check this out. They actually have all of the cutscenes on YouTube under MK Ice and Fire. So if you guys are curious on what he's talking about, go ahead and head over there. So yeah. Well, thank you for calling in, Matt. I appreciate you, and please call in again. All right.
Yeah, no problem. So I did have a second topic. I don't know what time we're at because
no, go ahead.
I haven't been keeping track.
What is it?
As far as it's a Christian thing. It's Judgment of Nations. So I know that not everybody here is Christian. I know that there are a lot. I think most people who are Christian are getting the feeling that like in the U.S. we are mirroring a lot of the same things that have happened in the Judgment of Nations in the Bible. Just things like reprobate mind and kind of like good becomes wrong, right becomes wrong, wrong becomes right kind of deal, and you're seeing this massive like clash of belief and ideal, and it just like to me it's like that's obviously what it is to me. I mean, everyone believes everything that's like everyone believes something different, so it's like up to them. Like having trouble getting to the point on this. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We all have our times.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to just like put that out there that like I definitely believe that the different stages of judgment is on us. Like and then if you're not Christian, take this with a grain of salt. I'd urge you to at least read the Bible with an open mind. But if you don't want to believe it, then you don't have to.
Well, I agree with you there, and I think that even at the most unbeliever, if they look at the prophecies and the things that have come true, they will be pretty shocked. So, well, I appreciate you, Matt, and please call in again. It's your first time call. I hope it's not your last.
Yeah, I usually only call when I hear something or see something specifically that's I get thinking about it.
Oh, okay, no.
Forget,
so this is actually. So is this your first time call? Looks like, you're former military too, right?
Yeah, I was a nuclear technician in the Navy.
Well, gosh, you should have said that right off the bat. What do you think of NK having 17 times the power of a Hiroshima?
I didn't deal with any of the warheads. So I was on a carrier and I was in a power plant. I worked in so you have nuclear reactors on ships, right? At least I would expect most people to know this. Well, not most people. I would expect that at least some people know this. But there are nuclear reactors on aircraft carriers and then some submarines. And that's what I worked on.
It's crazy to think about that. There's, all these nuclear reactors in our ocean. What if the ship gets sunk?
So the reactor itself is contained and it's engineered in such a way that it shuts down when anything bad goes. Basically, if anything bad were to happen, the reactor will shut itself down. And there's you have 3 or 4 separate layers of protection for something like this to happen. And the admiral who birthed the Navy nuclear program or whatever, he specifically designed these plants in such a way that they were inherently safe, so that even if you didn't have anybody operating it and watching it, that it would be designed to shut down safely if something were to happen, regardless of what happened.
Well, it's kind of a crazy thought. But you're pretty knowledgeable about it. We'd love to, if we have nuclear questions, we know where to call. Well, Matt, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you next time.
Yeah, man. Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Let's see. Christian says, please update schedule on website. Unfortunately, the schedule is just kind of got to be the way it is right now, just because, we are trying to get closer to that, but, we don't have a full staff. Again, that's why we are asking for help to grow. Let's see. T. Fisher, I know it's not necessary, but you're appreciated. Mark Sketch says, big up to Pastor Mac. Would love to get him back on again. Alex Carr, is Everett, Washington considered west of I-5? I believe Everett is just as kind of in that zone as everything else. I was near Everett as well, and I don't think that's far enough personally. I moved away from that. Mrs. Neves, prayer mob for me to recover soon. Well, I'll pray for you, Ms. Neves. Let's see here. Devon Pack. All the free super chats for you, Marv. That's awesome. Well, hey, they are free, so we don't mind you helping us. More Mountain Man, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
There he is, Marv. How you doing?
Hey, so today you are going to be talking about, let's see, the atmosphere collapsing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've been consistent in what I've been calling in and talking about. I started in August. I talked about how it was plasma that was causing the explosions, etc. I called in last week and I showed you all those pictures of the purple sky. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 20 before sunset here. Purple skies again right now. But I want to
Which,
tie
by the
all
way,
dots together.
just to tell you real quick,
Yep.
I asked people to send pictures of the purple skies on Twitter, and a ton of people ended up sending in pictures, and then I put up a drone footage of it on November 11th. I mean, literally, there was 2 days where specifically everybody saw this all over the world. So that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, well, so start watching a little TV, even if you have to. Watch like the Planet Fitness commercial. The entire commercial is purple. Watch your news anchors on TV. They're wearing purple ties and stuff like that. So it's in our faces. I'm going to tie it all together for everyone right now, Mark. So, I mean, I'm basically going to highlight. These are your highlight shows. Bees dying, flooding, strange skies, building of bunkers, seed vaults, sinkholes, sea animal die-offs, sun charging, sun changing, trees dying, UVC, power plants, wildfires, all caused by the atmosphere collapsing. So the bees dying and the trees dying and the sea animals dying is because of the UVC hitting the ground that we've talked about before. That's what's making them, that's what's killing them off, especially when they hit them directly. In other words, when they fly over or under the hole in the ozone layer. And then obviously the building of the bunkers, the seed vaults, that's about hiding underground when the storm is coming that the T-Man's been referencing is really a plasma storm. But the main thing, I sent you a bunch of pictures. I don't know if you have them all ready to go there. There's a ton of them. But the point to make is that the things that we've been seeing in the sky is because the atmosphere is collapsing, okay? And if you look at it, I sent you some pictures that explain the atmosphere. There's 5 layers of the atmosphere, right? There's the exosphere, the thermosphere, the mesosphere, and then the 2 lower layers that are above us as well.
Okay, so Brazil fires PNG. Explain this one first. We'll just go in order.
All right. Well, basically, yeah. So we talked about there being a hole in the ozone layer, and the 3 significant holes have been over China, California, and Brazil. So I sent you pictures of charts there, right, which show where the fires are. In other words, they're burning all over these countries, including the ones that we've had in California. There's some other charts there which show the temperature difference in the United States. In other words, this is causing the extreme weather. But the main thing that I wanted to, which was in the earlier set of pictures, you should see a map of the week there with like 160-degree temperature differences from heat to lowest wind chill in the middle of the country. You know, it's just crazy weather that we've had. But the main thing is that the atmosphere, Marf, it shapes how we see the sun. It shapes how we see the sky. So I sent you a bunch of pictures. Like there's been pictures of 2 suns. There's been pictures of 2 rainbows. There's been someone on the chat said there was an upside down rainbow in Sedona yesterday. The lenticular clouds, you've had those before. They look like seashells. And these are all caused by an atmosphere that's basically, you know, under duress, right? So when you talk about lenticular clouds, right, it indicates a great instability in that layer of the atmosphere. So what I'm saying is that the atmosphere is collapsing these 5 levels, and that's changing our visual perspective of everything. And the proof of it is that the real color of the sun is white. And the reason that the sun looks yellow to us is because the Earth's atmosphere scatters higher wavelength colors like red, orange, and yellow less easily than the other colors. It's more easily able to scatter them. So that lets you know if we're seeing purples and blues, these are colors that the atmosphere can't scatter. That means that the atmosphere is is collapsed, and you know we're seeing more of than we normally see because of it, and from a whole different perspective. Because the sun is actually white. The sun is really white, and everyone says, "Whoa, the sun has changed to white." No, our visual perspective of the sun has changed. Our visual perspective of the moon has changed. some of the pictures you see out there, the 2 moons, and the pictures you see out there, the 2 suns. They should be in the emails that I sent you. Hopefully they're loaded up for you to display. You'll see a couple of suns. And the smaller the 2 suns is the actual sun. The reflection is actually bigger. So these are all the anomalies that we're seeing in the sky are the result of the atmosphere collapsing. And that's where I wanted to get to the final part, which is the powers that be in their predictive programming, because that comes from the Disney movie in 2005 called Chicken Little. And I sent you the pictures of it, because the story of Chicken Little in the 2005 movie is very interesting, right? Because it involves the alien invasion. That's what ropes in the alien invasion. So basically, Chicken Little manages to ring a bell to warn everyone, but the aliens see that the crowd's coming and they escape, and they accidentally leave behind small orange aliens. And at the end, it's like a whole misunderstanding. In other words, the aliens supposedly were looking for some of their own that had, been stranded here. And what it is that, and it's funny you had Pastor Mac on. I really appreciated that. Nice job, Marf. I mean, you guys got 1 subscriber. I mean, for him to call in was awesome. I think that's what's going on. In other words, these purple skies, there's some kind of, this rapture thing that we've talked about, and that's what's hidden in this Chicken Little thing is the rapture, basically. In other words, people were raptured, and then they blamed it on this alien invasion, and that's totally what happens in this Chicken Little movie. And then the movie's on 11/4, which is 15, backwards 51. That's the start of the Illuminati. 11 times 4 is 44. That's the kill number. That was the date that they put this movie out. So that's what I think we got going on here, Marf, all over the world, is that the atmosphere is collapsing, and we're seeing things that we haven't been able to see before, including these purple skies. And, there's so many verses in the Bible that talk about, the word of God and the judgment, and that judgment comes in these purple clouds, because they're able to, the plasma, the gamma rays are able to see what's in the hearts of men. And it's written throughout the Bible. And I'm not a Bible person, but I've been drawn to it lately because of everything that I've seen and what I'm seeing. I mean, Thessalonians 2-10, and with every wicked deception directed against those who are perishing, because they refuse the love of the truth that would have saved them. For this reason, God will send them a powerful delusion, so they will believe the lie, in order that judgment will come upon all who disbelieved the truth and delighted in wickedness. And then Matthew 24:11, and many false prophets will arise and mislead, because of multiplication of wickedness. The love of most will grow cold. The one who perseveres to the end will be saved. And I mean, it's just on and on and on. I mean, Acts 1-8, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and in Samaria and to the ends of the earth. There's just so many, things in the Bible that are tied to there being some type of, and think of it, atmosphere, right? That we're on a sphere, and that these plasma is the rapture, is the holy finger of God. That's what these lightning, and this electrical skies and all this, and that there's a plasma storm coming. And I think that's what the storm is coming. That's been referenced by the T-Man all the time. And Marf 11/19/19. Look at Tuesday. Look at that number. Forwards and back. That's that really bad day in September that we talk about all the time.
Oh, okay. So 11/19/2019 backwards is
take away the 20. Just say it 11/19/19.
I see that. I'm looking at the bottom of my screen at the date. You put a 9 there,
and that's that really sad. And that's that really sad day in September. The last time I was on, that's the date that the 3 temples were destroyed. And I've been seeing everything coded for the 18th. And I think that was for the powers that be to get under the ground. So, and I think that's what these purple skies are. Whatever it is getting closer and closer to us. And it's coded in this movie, and we're seeing it in everything, every one of your shows. It all ties together if you really want to, delve deep into it. That our visual acuity, our perspective of the world is all controlled by the atmosphere, and that includes the moon, the sun, the stars, and everything that we see above us. So it's been changed, and that's the atmospheric collapse. And when I first called in August, I was talking about how the clouds were so close I could almost reach out and touch them here in the mountains. And you add that up, that means that the atmosphere collapsed for them to be so low. And then those crazy lenticular clouds, you know what I mean? The ones that look like seashells and lines. You've shown so many of those on your show, Mark.
Well,
right?
I've been tweeting some weird ones, the wave ones and all sorts of weird ones. No,
that's all caused by this collapse of the atmosphere. These 5 layers collapsing onto one, they cause strange reflections. They cause strange patterns and strange waves. And if you go look up the science behind it, like lenticular clouds, it says that it basically means that the atmosphere is under stress for those waves and those ripples to be seen in the clouds.
That's a really interesting theory, because if you do look, and a lot of the weird clouds, it looks like they're almost stacked, like something's pressing down on multiple layers like pancakes. It's pretty weird.
There you go. And that's what's happening. And that's why we see the UVC on the ground. And that's why we see the fires and the extreme temperature changes is just crazy. Like, it'll be, and that's, I sent you a chart with that. Like, the temperature changes are crazy. It was, I think, like 70 degrees in Denver one day, and then it was like 28 the next. Something, and then a huge storm came in. And then, we had the same thing up here. We got to 5 degrees. We went from 43 one day to 5 degrees the next day.
You're starting to go digital. Your voice is starting to go digital.
That's weird. Yeah, I know. I'm not. I lost the second PC after the West Virginia show on Monday, when I was, talking about how this world is alive, and I was destroying Washington, Lincoln, and Hampton, and all these guys have these, lives. Story. I lost my second computer.
They're literally cutting your feed, bud.
I know. I'm right over the top. I'm not hot.
This isn't on my end. I mean, I'm assuming.
Not my end. I'm right over the target. This is exactly what's going on. And, I said we got a person at the end. They're all going to go underground because they're afraid.
Well, that part came in perfectly clear. Well, thank you so much for you calling in, Mountain Man. Always a pleasure to have you on on the show, and of course, anything you might talk about, you are definitely. I mean, there's boom. You've got all your points straight. You're one of the most straightforward callers, so I appreciate you for that. And then, very interesting theory today as far as it totally makes sense too. Your theories always make sense. Of course, just can't.
But now we're adding 6 months of your show topics to this puzzle piece. You know what I mean? That what I'm saying could be the cause of everything that you've been reporting on. That's been an anomaly. You know what I mean? From a visual and having callers call in and talk about what they're seeing and experiencing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, Mountain Man, always a pleasure to have you. Appreciate your call as always. And please, let us work something out in a couple days from now again. All right?
Yeah, we'll do. I'm continuously working on this, and I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the show and what you're trying to do and trying to bring everyone together. And I appreciate the Marfoogle family, and so that's why I continue to go on, even though I continually lose my electronic devices because of it. Now I'm I'm a little handicapped in that arena right now.
Well, thank you, Mountain Man. I'll pull up your website after you're off, and then I'm going to get Gail on here. Otherwise, he'll drop off. Appreciate you more than ever. Yep. Okay. All right. Have a good night.
Take care, brother.
again, if you guys want to check him out, people have asked multiple times after he's called if he has a channel. Mountain Man doesn't do channel. He said he'll never do a YouTube channel, but he does have a website. I will pull that up for you guys. Dex, if you could pull that up. Hello, Gail. You are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hi, this is wow. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm absolutely tickled. I wanted to piggyback a little bit on what Mountain Man was talking about in regards to plasma, and and even his remark about the Chicken Little and the sky is falling.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know if you could hear me or not. Wonderful.
Oh yeah, we can hear you just fine.
All right, so I'm gonna put a little monkey wrench into this, into an obviously controversial topic when it comes to our Earth and where we live. And first of all, let me just say I've been listening to you for been about a year. I think I found you right at the turn of the new year of this just past year. And I was having some insomnia, was listening to you. I was like, all right, this is finally some people talking about some stuff that, I can put my chops into.
Well, thank you.
You go out into the real world and people just don't want to hear this stuff. And it can be frustrating, So it's nice to be able to eavesdrop on conversations where people are in the know, to a certain extent.
Well, thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you that ends up, coming over and listening. So, now what do you mean by the whole sky is falling? You're going to add to that?
Oh, okay. So the plasma. So I'm gonna, and obviously this term really triggers people, flat Earth. But I've done a lot of research into this. I actually stumbled upon like trans investigations before I stumbled upon flat Earth. And at that point I was like, you've got to be kidding me that anything was possible. And I started to look at ODD and some of the people that you might not know in the mainstream aspect. Please, if you ever interview a flat earther, please don't interview Mark Sargent, by the way. If you want some references on who to interview, I'll be happy to give you some links because there's so much information. But one of the guys you might want to look at is
it's just funny because
he
lives right here. He's like right next to me, and it's like I've actually talked about it. And back when because I'm totally open to have any kind of subject.
I heard you say you wanted to interview him. I'm like, please no.
But he's right here, so I was like, he's a figure at least. We'll just say a figure there, and but yeah, I just. It would be easy picking.
I don't want to get controversial on my verbiage, but please just don't go to him. I'd be happy to supply you with some more reputable people that can give you real scientific aspect. I live on the east coast of Florida, and I've done my own experiments. So I know that flat Earth triggers people, so I try not to even because.
Well, it also triggers the algorithm. A lot of channels are disappearing or getting demonetized. So we'll just call it FE from now on. But yeah, no, one of my mods is believes that, and actually I think a couple. We're totally open here. Like, there's a lot of things to talk about, and until I meet somebody who's actually been to space, none of us are right, really. So. Unless we all become astronauts.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. But
so since I don't comment because I like to listen. In all honesty, I don't know how people can follow along in the chat and listen to you at the same time. So I'm not a big commenter. But I would like to ask the family to take out a pen and jot down a couple of channels that, in 4 years of my research, I find have the most sound. And I'm going to start with Jay Dreamers. JayDreamerz. And he talks a lot about a plasma event. And he has some videos where he even references Chicken Little and the sky is falling, but it's a little bit different than what Mountain Man is talking about. And in all honesty, I'd have to listen to it again to intelligently try to explain it to you, but I think most of us can appreciate that we live in a electromagnetic field. And that is what Tesla was on to. And it's not gravity that is creating all of this push-pull, whatever you all want to call it. It's electromagnetism. The things that can be done with magnets are amazing. And the simple fact that static electricity exists tells you that energy is available freely, statically. You know, just a little bit of friction, and you got it. So I would love to talk to Mountain Man. Actually, I can't believe I got through.
Well, I can totally connect you guys. So you said
you
3 more channels.
I see it up. Awesome.
We just to let you know, we're about a minute over time. So just wanted to give you a heads up.
All right. So what else? So he does some great work on his playlist on J Dreamers. He has it's called a Plasma. I don't know if he calls it a Plasma Apocalypse, but if you go to his playlist, you'll see. And the other one that I would like to tell people who are still like resisting the flat earth stuff, go to D Murphy 25. He is probably the most intelligent man I've ever heard debate astrophysicists and leave them scratching their head. He explains gyroscopes wonderfully. He was actually just part of another one you might want to look up is the Globe Lie tour, which they're on right now. They're touring all of Europe right now in a van and doing out on the street activism. And it's just absolutely amazing, amazing stuff that they're doing. But my favorite guy on that tour his YouTube channel is D Murphy 25.
I already got it up. And then what was the third one?
Where they're doing the tour, and it ends, I think, in about a couple of weeks. The Globe, I think if you look, Jason of the Disbury Family would probably where you would find it. So the name Jason, yeah, there you go. I'm probably delayed, but there's D Murphy. Jason of the Disbury Family.
Got it pulled up. Yep. I got it. It's delayed about 30 seconds, so you won't see it until for a minute. But I've got the channel pulled up for everybody to copy.
Oh, I love that you did this. You're awesome. So all I'm asking the family to do is to take a few hours. Look at this information. Please just take it in. Please just take it in. Have an open mind for a little while. Forget what it is that you think that you know.
Well, that's that's what we are about. No, I agree with you, and I think that everybody should look at all different views of sides. What was the fourth channel? That was 3. I wanted to give you a chance to get all of your channels out to make sure that I share everything that you wanted. We had D Murphy, Jason of the Didsbury Family, and the first one was the maybe it was 4. I don't know. Was that the
Dreamers?
J Dreamers, yeah. Is there a 4th channel?
That's just Flat Earth, that Plasma. And then there's, well, I don't know that I want to give her channel out because she feels a little shilly to me, so I don't think I will.
Okay. All right.
Maybe at a later date once people dig in.
We're going on double time, so I appreciate your call. I just want to be fair to everybody, and I made sure to get all of the channels out so people could go and get the information that you're trying to share.
And I so appreciate your time, and Gail out. Thank you so much, Marf. You're the best.
And is this Gail Firestorm?
No. My name, like I said, I don't comment, but I am subscribed to you. My name's Playful Yogi in the chat, but I don't really comment much.
No worries. I'm
a
lot of people don't.
And I do body work.
That's okay. Well, thanks for calling in on the daytime. I appreciate you.
You bet. Take care.
All right. Have a good night. All right. Boom. Let's see here. So, no, oddly enough, I've never heard of any of these, and they're some of them are bigger channels, like 50,000 subscribers. But again, it's weird how YouTube's got all sorts of rabbit holes that you can go down, and you'll see a million, subscriber channel, and you've never heard of them. I mean, I run into that every day. Thank you, Tim Hahn. I appreciate that. Rob Hassett, welcome to the fam. Mods, if you want to welcome Rob Hassett. As always, if you subscribe during the live show, you will get a shout out, and even in the replay, I almost get you the next time too. Murphy's Law says, I'm late again. Here's my late fee. LMAO, joking. Awesome. Blue Granite Green says, God bless you, Adam and Dex, for all you do. Thank you. I appreciate you. Tammy Farrell says, blessings. Yes, I took pictures the other day in South Carolina, pink and purple in all directions. So what we're talking about and what was Mountain Man was referencing is that UV, the ultraviolet thing right here. So this is what he's talking about. Visible light. The more purple it is, the more gamma rays, I believe, right? The more red, the more infrared rays or whatever. So when it was purple, that's a lot of gamma rays, apparently. And I don't know if that's exactly how it works. I'm not an expert. But again, pretty crazy stuff that they were talking about. And then MG Toe Forever says, love the Foogle Fam. Jason Grant, thank you. I appreciate that as well. Jason Grant again. Jason Grant says, did not realize I had these. Thanks, Marf. Not sure if you remember me from first or second video. I do remember you, Jason Grant. I didn't know if that was actually you. Welcome back. It's been however long. There's a few people that have been here since the very beginning, and I really appreciate them. It's hard to keep people's attention for 2 years. I mean, people move on. They leave. D-Beck at 989 says, here's another freebie courtesy of YT. Thank you. That's awesome. Captain Kirk, hey, Marf, I hope you're having a great day. Beautiful in Grand Island, Nebraska. That is cool. That's awesome. Ms. Neves, thanks, Marf. Morsels of Faith, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Christian, please update schedule. I was going to get back to that. So, again, we don't have a full staff here. I've got 3 kids. It's just, we're trying to do that. We need more people to be working for the channel. Like shows like Jimmy Fallon and these late night shows that, have full staffs and assistants and all that. They can go, have a set schedule because it's set up for them. We have to do everything, all of the stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't see. That has to be done by us. And sometimes life gets in the way of that. If we could bring on more people, we could easily make that schedule a little bit easier to happen. So we do try to give you as much notice as we can. We're trying to get better at least letting you know, like, if we're not going to be on. Big up to Pastor Mac, says Mark Sketch. Would love to get him back on again. Alex Carr is Everett. We went over that one. Devon Pack, keep up the brave work, Marf. Free super goes to you. Thank you guys for all the free super chats. I don't know when they give them out. That's super awesome. Devon Pack. Devon Pack says they gave me 4. Hope everyone is having a good day. Last time they did this, it was like $1 and they gave you like 2. So I don't know where those came from. Love Marfoogle, Dex and the Marfia. Keep your heads up, eyes and ears open. F. Swaded. Lance Moore, thank you. I appreciate that. Darlin Nikki. Yakima. It felt like an invisible knife going through the house into the ground. We heard something hovering above the home. What's the military doing? Darlin Nikki, I've actually had 4 reports from Yakima. I would love to hear like the date and when this happened. Is this in the last week? His Queen 711 from me and Vanderlick. We love you. Perfect. Okay. Again, thank you, Mary Osberg, for going over to Patreon and pledging. Boom. Whoa. Dex. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
What a show.
Some great callers too. Really
no,
great.
yeah, no. As always, I mean, the people we get, I think that's another reason why so many people watch is you just never know what you're going to get. Today, you know, you just have such a wide variety of people, wide variety of views. That's why it's so important that we keep shows like mine and others too. All of our friends, you know, that we have pushed up and try to lift up. It's so important that we keep these shows because we need open discussion. We need open minds. We need to stop telling everybody else they're wrong because what we believe. No, that's not how it works here. Again, to the new people, we try to be respectful of the callers. If you made a mistake here and there, that's fine. You know, we try to be, the mods know they try to give people at least 3 chances. I mean, like if you're really bad, they might give you a timeout or something. But the reason why we're respectful of callers, we want to make it to where you feel like you can call in and no matter what you say, I mean, don't we all have like a weird belief? Even the people throwing stones at others, they might believe in a 3-legged, you know, donkey yeti, and you don't want to tell anybody because you're afraid to be made fun of. We all have a belief like that. No matter what you say, there's a weird belief that you're like embarrassed to talk about. You should be able to come here and call in and talk about it and then go back to the chat and have nobody, you know, not feel like everybody thinks you're stupid now. We need to really change our point of view to, okay, that's cool. That, you know, like, why can't we do that? It's not like it physically hurts us to hear other people's opinions, but that's how it's gotten to be. Like the whole beginning of the show, being offended, let's drop that crap and only be offended to being offended. Let's not be offended anymore. Seriously, it's offensive. All right. Yeah, Jason Grant, thank you. Aliens are real. Lost Boy Draco, Bosco Man, little bit of love for you, little brother. Tim Hahn, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. I've never seen that many. It's obviously the free super chats. I wish, you know, that's an awesome freaking day. So thank you guys for just making it awesome as far as like the support. We don't ask for that. So thank you. If you, Dex, I love you, man. Thank you, brother, for helping us screen. We're going to get the heck out of here.
Yeah. Love you too, and thanks, and God bless to the fam.
Leah Venegas giving you my free super chat. You guys are great. Okay, making it work for the girls. Love you too. If you've never been here for the end of the show, this is where I make a complete fool out of myself. It's not an outro, and it's not a shoutro. It's not an outro, it's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro. It's where I freestyle all your names at the very end of the show. Stick around. Hey, thank you, K. King. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. Be love. West Virginia Prepared Mind. Dave Dalton. John French. I appreciate you. Terry, I love this part. Little Lena and the Griselda Rodriguez. Kathy Paina, thank you for calling Light Moon and the OG Johnny B with the Don Spencer. JM. God bless Rachel Brady, where is my mind? Murphy's Law and Dex J. Sitting on the native Texan team. Got that back-ass words wheeled world. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hey, two blondes walk into a bar with ginger grin. Bruce Mines and Mr. Winston. Breaks. Gotta see that Amber too with the Jake Clit and the 2 of everybody hanging out with Bill Asbury. Gotta see now we Brasberry. Hey, Captain Ned and Johnny 222. Got that Brent where I need to. I need you like you need me. Boat guy 2020 or minus 10 2010. Hey, Owen, Alina, and Afghanian. I don't know how to say it, so I'll say it that way. Legendary says yo to me. Hey, Clarity After Dark. Hey, Raiden McDonald's. Hey, Manny Bronson, Gila Bear, and Chris D. Hey. The feeling is mutual. Red pill, I appreciate that. Seraphina, I appreciate that. And K King, Leah Venegas, sitting in Vegas. In the shizzy, Mr. Grumpy Joe, Roger Cunningham, and Jan Emily. Susan Kruenek. Hopefully I said that right. What the heck? Miss Aja, Linda Hernandez, Lexi with Dex, Glenda Snyder, Busy Bizzle being a writer, Eric Elliott, now they just being jealous. Hey, Rebecca Fisher and T Fisher hanging out with Red in the Valley. Thank you, Allie, coming with Clarity After Dark. Now remember, you can go to MarfoogleNews.com and get updated on everything that we have talked about today. I've got that Alan Talley, that Daniel Delash, and the Billy Asbury. I've got that Love Pot. I've got that David Bradley and my Tiffany G, Little Lena and Chad Latham. Jojo, I like me for yeah. I've got a Jesus Magnus. It will change in a minute. I've got that Trish Kitten, Captain Exotic I-214. Got that Justin Baldwin. Got the Piana. Mantis Amanda. Bruce Mamala. I've got that Petra A. Hanging with that D.E. Way. Yeah. I got that Lisa. I got that CEV. Matt Sutter hanging with me. Miss Francis, I am so thankful for people like you. So thankful for people like you. Fatty McButterpants, so thankful for people like you. Oh rider, oh rider, oh rider. It's no nut November, ram a nut. And if you ram a nut, then you better be ram a nut. Hey Paulette Kelly. Hey Jake Stone 78. Hey Linda Way. Hey Mansa Mensa Manda. Hey Little Wolf. Kenny Crafter, you're in the way. Nancy Hoffman, you shall say. Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Marfoogle News. We gonna bring the boom boom back. Lend it to Linsky. I'm gonna bring you out fish
and Toby on the lovely screen. Sample snaps in the Linda way. Angelina, Roxy. Got a Matsaka. Got a Lindsay, Nancy Hall. Bring it like Timmy Farrell. Got a Kenny Crowder. Rizar, the outsider. Oh, and it's all about the one God. Can we read WB? Prepared mind. Hey, gotta bring it right back. Plus minus. Gonna bring it back now. Plus and a minus. CV now. We've got that Inus. I'm about to bring it. Do not give up with the taste on Inus. Baby girl Lopez. Gotta kick it with the Justin Baldwin. And the Bizzle. Kelly, gotta bring it in the back as worlds were well. Bruce Amala, Caddy Pie Ina, gonna bring it right back, man. Detroit, let's get. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Hey, Dex J, hanging with preparedness at casual, hanging out with Kara, Captain Lawrence. Gotta be a big co-ends. Hey, CJ Blaze with the Michelle Cinnamon. Go get me some cinnamon. Put on top of my Alan Jovi. Liberty, Snafu, Snap, Cinnamonza, Amanda. Hey, that a lot of liquor. Gotta bring it right back in the clicker. On the mouse with the Tracy Ricer. In the clan mama with the boom boom prepper Ilea. Native Texan. Gonna hang out round and I'm wrecking. This beat like a rebel's not throat. I'm about to be Mr. Marfoogle. Now that's a mouthful with just him, Daystone 78 and the Anatoly. Do not give up, Marvin, fun time. Gonna bring right back now all the run times. Going way over 2 hours in the microphone. Figure Leo. Old bad man, no mojo. Rizar. Why didn't you call her Mr. Esparza? Bring it right down now, we go so far. Bobby Williford, gonna get a ford. Fix a road pair daily in the middle, door in the center. I'm gonna be Esparza, Daddy make better butter pots. Got my Christopher Ingram books. And the Cody drums, gonna bring right now we runs. Murphy's Law, hanging out with Shizit. Gonna bring it now, we give no shiznit about them haters. Special shout out to Ann Lynn Show. The remaining remnant, thank you for sticking around for so long. Hey, it's all about being happy at the end of the show. We talk about the end times. We talk about the end times. But we're gonna make it for us. Hanging out with Annette Tobias. With Stephen Dixon, Chastina, and Darlene. We be what we be. And the Cody drums do not give up. Happy with that Dan Nash one. Dan Chan one, gonna bring it down, man. Oh, hey, now we in the YouTube vortex. Helen Dixon, be on the session. Oh, yes, we gon' ride. Got that spot set line. Got that residing outside of just wanna lie with the Bruce Minor. I walks with the crowd. Now hanging out with JoJo. Cindy Christian Ziamo. It's her birthday. So this episode is dedicated to Christine Cindy Ziamo. Cindy. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Cindy, Cindy, amo. Happy birthday. Watch it not be a birthday. King Marfoogle has just subscribed. I don't know about that name though. Kelly2334, you and your mods and Dex are great. Hey, Rizar the Outsider, thank you for being here. Do not give up, Eric Elliott and Rita Jean. Smoky Mountain Gal, Roger Cunningham, thank you all for coming. Overbuilt Automotive, you know the rules. Hey. Christmas starts coming back fast. Time to take price, and now you bring it right back. Steve Parker, Major P, and Dave Dalton hanging out with Twinkie D's like it was Alden. Now we gonna get it with that line. Bring it right back now there's no drama. Bring it with the fuzzy love and the war. Scaredy cat and everybody gotta give. Now the drag no struck body drum gotta go back round like Mr. Gotti and the flying cow, Miss Foogle. Gotta lead the way now, you see, yo. I just want the casual preparedness of everybody else. Now it is over. Daniel Wonder, bringing it back now. It is, yes, it is over. Walks with Pro and Mr. Capichow. Where are you now? Hey, Roger Cunningham, thanks you for now. I hope you guys all have a great night. I am outro.
Yeah. Sam, I'm feeling deep, the dolphin in the sea, rolling in the waves, floating with the breeze. Got my sunny shades on, play my favorite song. Thankful for the charm, life rocking in my attention. I don't need the extra attention.
I'm glad too, our Jacks. Thank you for coming. Debo, Brent Warweg, and Sharon McKenzie. Wouldn't be possible without you.
I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me. I like me for me.
Hey Jojo, I like me for me. Where'd you get that funky name?
Over here, you know how that shit feels. You think it's out of space, but I know that it is real. Sipping Chapo Chico, La Coco Puerto Rico. Lick it dance waterfall, anywhere that we go. I am looking for attention.
Are
I don't
you?
need the extra tension.
No.
Cause I'm in the fourth dimension.
Yes?
Chappie is high in suspension.
Oh.
Now don't bother with the haters.
Yeah?
Cause they all be imitators.
Oh,
They
yeah.
real life manipulators. Get
No.
it back up and see you later.
Oh,
I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No
John is home place. We would start over if I could. Motown Mojo, Rusty Bumper.
Na 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 na. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. 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 I like me for me.
Rich Potter, are you my father reincarnated?
I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy.
I hope you all have a great night. If you were wondering how to get a part of our Discord, then wait no more. Grab a pen and paper and have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and of course, Marf out.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarFoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is
Cheryl
waiting
Parker.
for you.